The Minnesota Strikers, and the Force still has an outside shot at capturing its third consecutive Eastern Division championship, but the Force will have to win this evening to have any shot whatsoever. Hi, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, and welcome to Minneapolis. Working with me once again, Bill McDermott. And Bill, nearing the end of the regular season, and with all the Force's injuries and playing the younger players, it's astounding to me that they still have an outside shot at a third Eastern Division crown.
Very much so, Denny. I think astounding is the accurate word. But it would be true to form for the Cleveland Force, who have done so. That is, capture the Eastern Division title in the waning moments of the last two seasons.
Well, the Force hasn't exactly played great soccer here at the Met Center this past year. They're 0-3 against the Strikers, 0-5 in their last 5 attempts. What will they have to do this evening to beat Minnesota on their home carpet?
Well, if it be at all possible, use the young players, and they are going to be used here this evening, the first and second year players, but keep the ball away from their proven goal scorers like Hector Marinero and Steve Kinsey, and in particular Steve Byrne and Alan Willie, who are absolute Cleveland Force killers. They play really well against the Cleveland squad.
Well, the Force will have to do it this evening without the services of Kai Hoskevy or Craig Allen. And of course, if Minnesota wins tonight, then they clinch the Eastern Division championship. It should be a good one. Stay tuned. We'll have the starting lineups and the opening kickoff right after these messages. To the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Denny Schreiner along with Bill McDermott as the Force wraps up the regular season. A big game tonight, and of course back home tomorrow night. Here's the two tenders for this evening, and oh my, look at Lettieri with the tie-dye.
Tino Lettieri on your left, the keeper for the home side Minnesota Strikers, who is riding a 15-game consecutive winning streak. Denny, to his right is P.J. Johns, who has taken over and for all intents and purposes is really the starting goalkeeper for the Cleveland Force, due to the injury of Victor Nogueira, who at the time of injury was really playing superbly.
Well, the key question this evening, not only the fact that the Force could still keep its Eastern Division championship hopes alive, but will the MISL be playing soccer or taps after midnight this evening? The meeting is being held in Washington as we speak.
As we talked, Denny, during the course of our game, they are indeed meeting. And we don't like to belabor the point. However, the point is not going to go away, and we have to talk about the fact that the owners are meeting with various player representatives from each club. As we look at Timo Liakovsky, he told me prior to the game that he was indeed confident that things can be worked out, as that seems to be the real mood of the evening. The players are very confident that things can be worked out, and hopefully so that they can concentrate on playing soccer and not have to worry about what's going on labor relations-wise.
Well, if there isn't an agreement by midnight this evening, the season's effectively over after Sunday's final game. Let's hope that's certainly not the case. Michael King creates an opportunity, and Lettieri with a kick save to open things up.
Good save right at the outset. Keeper Tino Lettieri, who immediately saw that danger happening, that he knows that Michael King is a prolific scorer, immediately came out to meet King, cut off his angle very nicely.
Well, the Force has come out firing here as the boys in blue try and create an opportunity and score first on the road and maybe dictate some tempo.
And that's a real key, Denny, because if you allow Minnesota to get a top in the game by scoring 1 or 2 goals in their home facility, they are very adept at keeping the ball, and you don't want to try to get back in the game by chasing the ball while they have it.
Of course, both teams really with makeshift outfits here this evening. The Force missing the services of Kai Hoskevy and Craig Allen, the top 2 scorers. And on the other side of the ledger, Dwight Lodevegas, along with Ray Hudson, Jerry Adzik, Gary Etherington, all those people out for Minnesota.
So a lot of players have been marked absent, and you will see quite a few new players here this evening for the Cleveland Force.
Alan Willie on the left wing. Let's go with a left-footed drive that's a little high and away, and P.J. clears out quickly to Carl Valentine on the right wing.
Alan Willie, Denny, along with David Byrne, have career games, it seems, whenever they play against the Cleveland Force. First of all, they're prolific scorers to begin with. And joining them this year is Hector Marinero with a mere total of 55 goals, coupled with 23 assists. So he's having a superlative year.
Really, when you look at Minnesota, a team from top to bottom with a lot of veterans, a lot of players that play well together. Michael King on the wing gets off the left footer that ends up on the wall, and it's cleared back out front.
They do have quite a few veterans, Denny, and they have a very nice understanding amongst those veterans, as opposed to the Cleveland Force, who are playing tonight with 4 rookies, 5 second-year players, and 5 of the 15 dressed tonight are farmer draft picks, which goes to show you, yes, the system does work to bring up young players.
Bobby Joe Esposito on the carpet for the first time this evening. Desmond Armstrong with a nice pass through to Walt Schmetzer. Off the wall, Bobby Joe tries to run it down and does so. Turns and squares, but Cummins knocked it away. Now it's up off the top of the glass, and Bobby Joe came in a little too late. That one's up and over the top.
Here's number 39, Bobby Joe Esposito. Speaking of rookies, I talked about the fact, Denny, that we have 5 of the 15 players tonight are draft picks by the Cleveland Force. 2 other draft picks were picked by the Tacoma Stars, Doug Swanson and Glenn Lurie, and they're also in the lineup tonight.
It's amazing, you know, from basically the start of this season all the way through now till the end. That man right there, Timo Likowski, has pretty much had to operate with the younger kids, and now as we wear down to the end of the regular season, it could really work out to be a tremendous advantage experience-wise.
Very much so, Denny. In particular, that tragic West Coast trip where it started the 8-game losing streak, a lot of those veterans didn't even make that trip because, as you pointed out, because of the injuries. Younger players were called into the fore, and immediately they got their baptism under fire, and then they've really been playing well. That's been the theme of the entire year. Timo was going to stick with young players, and he's done so.
And don't forget, tomorrow night it's the battle for second place, the match between Sobieski and P.J. Johns. It's the Force versus the Sidekicks, and of course it's Fan Appreciation Night. Come to the game and win all sorts of prizes all evening long from Hot Sand Companies, Pierre's Ice Cream, Fazio Supermarkets, TCBY, Mr. Hero, Holiday Inn Richfield, Hillcrest Travel, and of course 2 round-trip airline tickets to anywhere in the continental U.S. courtesy of Piedmont Airlines. Listen to WONE 97.5 for all the details, and really it's going to be a tremendous evening at the Coliseum tomorrow night, Fan Appreciation Night.
And what a better opponent to end the season with than the defending champions, the Dallas Sidekicks. As a matter of fact, Denny, tonight they're playing at Baltimore. We'll keep you updated. As a matter of fact, in the first quarter, Baltimore is leading Dallas by a score of 1-0.
Certainly no surprise there. Kenny Cooper's crew trying to bounce back and make the playoffs once again. Force with another good opportunity. Whistled up, though. That's team foul number 1 against Cleveland. 2 team fouls thus far against the Strikers. Just underway here at the Met Center. 12:05 left to go in the opening quarter.
Speaking of the Baltimore Blast, Denny, they wouldn't need a win tonight or Sunday here against Minnesota to get that 4th and final playoff spot, coupled with, or maybe along with, a Chicago win in Chicago against the St. Louis Steamers. That game is being played tomorrow.
Operating with his back to the goal, and that's probably where he's most dangerous. That one is up and over the top of the window, and we'll take a break. With the 11:39 left here in the opening quarter, there is no score from the Met Center, and you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19. Their home carpet.
And that's really the key, Denny. The Force has yet to win this year in this facility, but last year they pulled off a big win here in Minnesota. That was due in large part to that they were victorious in that first playoff series against the Strikers.
Troy Snyder, back it goes to Letary. One of the better goaltenders in the league with his feet, wouldn't you say?
Very much so. Very gifted at doing just that, and that's a real key, a dual-purpose role for a goalkeeper in this league. Obviously, he has to be able to use his hands, but a real key is his ability to distribute the ball out of his own backfield with his feet.
You just save that much more time, right?
Very much so.
It up.
And that's what Victor Nogueira was very adept at, doing just that, play the ball with his feet, and would not hesitate to come outfield and take a shot, man.
Well, the Force doing a fine job of marking and trying to hang on to the ball as Benny Dargle got bounced around a little bit, and another whistle and team foul number 3.
It's one of the things the Force defenders have to be wary of, keeping the ball away from that man, number 21, Hector Marinero.
Kingy chips it back to Benny Dargle. Benny surveys upfield, right wing pass to Michael King.
Benny Dargle playing tonight in his 204th consecutive game. Whew, what a statistic. That's incredible.
Letary looks, and now hits a sprinting Steve Kinsey down the left sideline. Kinsey with a step-over move, lets it go. P.J. corrals it. And both the keepers, I think, very sharp here in the early stages.
It was a very nice save by P.J. It didn't look to be that glamorous, but the key to it was Dennis Mepham stepped in front of Steve Kinsey right when he was going to take the shot. Consequently, P.J. was screened, but he made the stop, then covered up to prevent a rebound.
Mepham with 13 blocks in his last 4 games, and I hesitate to say he's near 100%, awfully close, and he is Bill's halftime guest this evening. Well, that one ricochets in and out of the goal crease once, twice, point blank, and finally Cummins beats P.J. Johns, and that ball just simply would not be cleared.
And that's exactly why the goal developed, Denny. The ball was not cleared out of the backfield when the Force had the first opportunity to do so. And number 13, Stan Cummins, eventually makes it pay off. Here's Alan Willie in the far corner, knocks it across the face of the goal. Dennis rebounds the ball off PJ. Then Kinsey knocks it wide, gets his own rebound, finds Cummins unmarked, and he puts the home side Minnesota Strikers on top by a score of 1-0. Here's the end result of that goal. Kinsey finds Stan Cummins unmarked. They're at the penalty spot, so number 13 for the Minnesota Strikers puts his club on top.
Walt Schmetzer on the right wing lets it go. Letary high up for the rebound. So it's 1-0 Minnesota, and that's not exactly what Timo Liakowski had hoped for.
That goal developed, Denny, because initially Dennis was surprised by the ball knocked across the face of the goal by Alan Willie.
5:19 of quarter number 1, and Minnesota takes a 1-0 advantage. Marinaro and Andy Schmetzer. Marinaro goes down, and Schmetzer gets whistled up.
Number 22, Andy Schmetzer, who is having an absolutely fabulous year. He's got 19 goals and 8 assists. Here's that last play again. Number 21, Marinaro. You saw him look behind him to see where the man was, Denny. He immediately wanted to get his body in between the ball and the man to keep possession, and he eventually drew the foul.
Cummins, who has the score, tries to chip it inside, and that one is headed away nicely. 9 minutes left here in quarter number 1. We also should mention Gino DiPolito and Joe Manfrey working this one this evening.
There is Gino DiPolito, as you speak about him, one of the veteran officials in the league. Matter of fact, a veteran official throughout North American soccer.
Near handball there on Walt Schmetzer. Marinaro tries to keep it. And Cummings with a back pass that is across the red line. Well, the one thing you hate to do is get behind early on the road, because even though home teams want to play entertaining soccer, you give them the opportunity to dictate the tempo in the early stages.
And one of their forms of playing entertaining soccer in the mind of their coach, Alan Merrick, he ingrains this in his players' setting, is keeping the ball.
One of the better teams, I think, in doing so from top to bottom of the roster. So the Force really has their work cut out. Burns with a center. Uh-oh. Collision inside, and making a tremendous save is P.J. Johns, with all sorts of help from Andy Schmetzer, who is still down. And let's hope it's nothing serious.
This is how the play develops. David Byrne rebounds the ball off the near post boards. Here's great defense by Andy Schmetzer to get back. And perhaps he hit his head on the floor on the eventual slide. He ran into number 8, Mike Sweeney, did number 22, Andy Schmetzer. He's attended to by Force trainer Aaron Gelfert, who once again, as we mentioned in our last telecast, has tendered his resignation to the Cleveland Force. And Aaron told us and all the media in Cleveland this was probably one of the most difficult decisions he's ever had to make. He's had a real love affair with the entire Force organization for the last 7 years, so it's a very difficult decision for him to make. And as we said last week, we wish Aaron and his family all the best in the future.
I don't think there's any question that his blood is blue, Force blue, but a better opportunity for him down the road, and as tough as it'll be for him to have to sit in the stands and watch next season, that's what he'll have to do. Well, let's hope Andy Schmetzer is all right. I have a feeling he is probably seeing some stars here in Bloomington, and they're probably out. It was a nice, clear day here this afternoon. Force will get up bright and early tomorrow morning, catch a flight, and arrive back at Cleveland Airport about 10:30 tomorrow morning and prepare for tomorrow night's big home game, the season finale, regular season finale against Dallas.
There on the upper right side of your screen, just moving away, there you see the far right of your screen, a seldom seen face lately. That's number 7, Paul Kitson, who is recovering from arthroscopic surgery.
Marinaro chases it down in the left corner. Kitson there to provide the defense. Well, as we've already mentioned, Kai Hoskevy, Craig Allen, Brian Bliss, those 3 players not here. Pasquale DeLuca also not in attendance this evening. I think all but Bliss, though, will be on hand for tomorrow night's game at the Coliseum.
Brian sprained his knee in that last Saturday night match, the return match, that back-to-back series with Baltimore. So he is indeed out for this evening. There's number 7, Paul Kitson, who came over to the Cleveland Force from the Los Angeles Lasers. Number 7, Paul Kitson, back in the lineup this evening.
Armstrong back to Kitson. Fans wanting some kind of a foul. Willie comes down to apply the pressure. Michael King looks upfield, decides to go backwards with it. Stoley is there. Michael King with a header, and he's going to get 2 minutes for the penalty.
was Chris Dangerfield who was fouled by Michael King, number 13. The Force having a difficult job controlling the ball out of their own end, and consequently they're giving the ball away. Here's Chris Dangerfield attempting to bring the ball down, and going forward on the tackle is number 13, Michael King, and number 13, King, and number 15, Chris Dangerfield knocked heads. So referee Gino DiPolito calls up a foul on Michael King.
Well, we'll take a break right here with 7:19 left to go in the opening quarter. It's 1-0. The Strikers lead, and you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
And here's how the play developed. Dangerfield at midfield wins the ball out of the backfield, goes forward. Ooh, he's run into by number 13, Michael King, and in this case, Chris Dangerfield got no respect. So Michael King serves 2 minutes. The Force will play short-handed, but they've been doing an absolutely astounding job in that category all year long, Denny Schreiner.
Well, they're going to be pressed into hard service here as Valentine sprints. Kicks it away. He's knocked to the turf, but the officials say play on. Marinaro with a bullet off the right side. Meppen tries to control it, and he can, and back out front it comes. Cummins with the only goal thus far in this one. Now back to David Byrne, the ever-dangerous David Byrne.
Force has killed off 66 of the last 82 power play opportunities for the opponent. They clearly lead the league in that department, 80% degree of efficiency.
Carl Valentine, John Stolmeyer, Benny Dargle, and Dennis Meppen. That's the foursome out there. Carl Valentine hustling, controlling to Meppen, and then back to Carl. Carl on a sprint now. Lettieri comes out, gets the first shot off. That's a little bit wide. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. It's 3-on-1. Ahead it goes. PJ comes out with a nice save. Byrne steps up at the arc, can't get the shot off, and Stoley kicks it free.
Great work by PJ Johns to come off his line, not use his hands, receive the ball, and clear it with his chest.
Oh, nice centering ball there, but Meppen comes up with a hip block. A left footer, and both PJ and Benny Dargle got a piece of it, and there you see PJ congratulating Benny for the last-second help.
Great defense by the Force defenders, and they also get a shot on goal at the other end with Carl Valentine. Stan Cummins again with a blistering shot. There's number 15, Benny Dargle. That was defense by self-defense.
Cleveland with 2 shorthanded goals this season nearly had a third because of Carl Valentine.
And that's what you have to do, Denny, just because you're playing shorthanded. If you have the chance to go forward, don't hesitate to do so.
Well, you have to watch these ricochet and rebound shots. Byrne controls again. Across the red line. Little step over. Looking for a seam. Willie on the wing, lets it go, and ricochets around like a pinball, and now it's cleared out by Valentine.
Believe me, if you're looking for a seam, you'll find plenty in this carpet. This is really a bad surface on which to play.
Oh, nice kick-away tackle by Carl Valentine. 5 seconds left in the man advantage, and the Force comes up big in the early stages, killing off the power play. Meppen controls, Stoley, and now it's to Kitson on the wing. With a one-toucher back to Michael King. And the Strikers really marking closely.
There's Glenn Lurie, making his first appearance of the evening.
Stoley directs a little traffic. Force continues to play a perimeter game. Lurie, like a bull in a china shop. Oh, Kitson with a near. Oh, a bicycle try, and that one won't go. Well, he's been saving all those moves up all season long.
Paul Kitson says, I've been on a lineup far too long. Let me bike one here.
That would have been a dandy if he'd have fooled Lettieri with that bicycle shot.
And the rebound came to him off a very nice shot by Glenn Lurie. And I was about to point out that Lurie will never hesitate to take a shot with either foot, Denny. He's a very powerful player.
Well, he'll not necessarily run around you. There are times when he'll run right through you.
Glenn Lurie, as we pointed out, one of the draft picks, not of the Cleveland Force, however, of the Tacoma Stars. Gladly now with the Cleveland Force, along with Doug Swanson.
4:05 left in quarter number 1, and it's Minnesota 1 and Cleveland nothing, courtesy of a Stan Cummings goal at the 5:19 stage. Snyder on the left wing now to Mike Sweeney. Sweeney tries a wall pass. Oh my, another dangerous play, and Desi that time trickled it back to PJ.
Doug Swanson now on the field with Glenn Lurie, so all kinds of young faces, and the game put them in the more important part of the time of the season, Denny.
One thing is for sure, you can't tell the players without a program here tonight.
Be alert. Someone new might run off the bench. Jay Hoffman might come in.
Doug Swanson, of course, a UCLA standout, seeing his first playing service in the MISL tonight. Memorable experience for him. Dangerfield, who took a shot to the head now. A nice clearing pass. Bunbury couldn't run it down. He has it in the corner now. Tries to do a little work on Desmond Armstrong. Snyder with a steal. Back on the offense. Troy Snyder hounded and knocked to the ground by Benny Dargle, and that's team foul number 4 against the Force.
Number 5, Troy Snyder, yet another young face in this league. That's one of the real themes of the league, Denny, and it's really been uppermost around the entire league this year. A lot of young faces, young rookies getting a chance to play. That's the key. They're not just taking up space on the roster. They are indeed playing.
And once you get in there, you have to make it pay off if you can, production-wise. Gelnovich also playing now. Byrne with his back to the goal. Tries to center it, and a little tripping from behind. Valentine on the move.
George Gelnovich, Doug Swanson, Desmond Armstrong, John Stolmar, all these players who the Cleveland Force fans initially had their chance to see, not so much in college, but in the Budweiser Classic.
And we'll take a break here with 2:15 left in the opening stanza. It's Minnesota 1, Cleveland nothing. You're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
With 1:42 remaining in the first quarter, the Force put the man advantage.
And don't forget, kids, be up to Randall Mall in North Randall on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. because John Stolmeyer, Brian Bliss, and Walter Schmetzer will all be there on hand to give soccer demonstrations, sign some autographs, and of course you can take some pictures with those guys. That's Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. at Randall Park Mall in North Randall. It's up to the Cleveland Force to take advantage here, as there you see Byrne having to... Oh, no, they're going to have Willie in the...
Yeah, Willie, and there's one key to watch when this penalty has expired, and they will immediately try to send him long and get him out of the penalty box. So he's really to be watched after, number 9, Alan Willie.
Stolmeyer on the wing. Valentine in the corner, back to John. Minnesota has forced Cleveland into some errors. That heavy pressure thus far here in quarter number 1. The Force has come up with a couple of pretty good scoring opportunities, but haven't been able to finish things off thus far this evening.
Strikers right now not allowing the Force to get in deep close to Tino Laturia, playing all this now at midfield.
Minnesota falls back a little bit now. Schmetzer with a blast. Nearly a goal that time by Walt Schmetzer.
Oh, we've seen a bicycle kick by Paul Kitson. Now a leaping side volley by number 4, Walter Schmetzer.
That would have been a dandy of a goal there. Florio now takes a good look, tries to chip it inside, and it's stolen away by Mike Sweeney. Andy Schmetzer with a steal.
Really nice tackle by number 22, Andy Schmetzer. Sliding tackle. Very nicely done.
And don't forget you're watching the Cleveland Force on WOIO 19, Shaker Heights, Cleveland, with the television home of Cleveland Force Soccer. Now that time a pass on the far post. A header possibility for DeFlorio. Carl gets it back. Another shot. Lettieri steers it high and away. Schmetzer lets go with one, and right now the Force just peppering that goal.
They really are, and they're getting some clear-cut opportunities for shots on goal as the horn sounds to conclude that first quarter.
Well, that's a shame because the momentum was obviously in Cleveland's favor. Carl Valentine hoping for a goal maybe in quarter number 2. We've come to the end of 15 minutes of soccer. It's Minnesota 1, Cleveland nothing. And you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
You gotta follow your heart. Don't fight it. You've got a hunger that's real. Get excited. When you really believe what you're feeling inside, Mr. Hero, you know, you just gotta follow your heart.
message to Society Bank customers, Ken and Darlene Bagby. You know that getting ahead means paying attention to details. Your bank feels the same way. You count on Society because Society bankers work like you do, with an attitude that says, whatever it takes. Isn't that just what hardworking people like you deserve? Thanks, Ken and Darlene, from the people who are building a better bank around you.
Introducing the tortellinis from Stouffer's.
The flying tortellinis. Great act.
I love a little red tortellini convertible.
He was the greatest magician of all time.
Wonderful little pockets of homemade pasta filled with veal or rich cheeses, topped with creamy Alfredo, tangy tomato, or zesty vinaigrette sauce. Stouffer's tortellinis. 5 new pasta entrees as good as can be.
Tortellinis? Sure. They're delicious little pasta pockets. Stouffer's makes them so you know they're good. And
my new father-in-law is here from Italy, so I brought him to a real Italian restaurant. Big Boy.
Mio genere è uno stupido.
He says he's happy to be here.
Mia figlia ha sposato un imbecille.
Hey, he says the Italian dinners are really delicious, like all the good food at Big Boy.
Now, tangy veal parmesan's just $4.25. Lots of delicious savings at Big Boy's Italian Festival.
Delizioso. Forse non è così ignorante come sembra.
America loves its Big Boy.
Amore. I love you too, Dad.
It's 1-0 Minnesota, Bill McDermott, but the Force has come up with some spectacular tries.
Foremost among which is this last one here by Walter Schmetzer. Look at this attempt, Denny. A leaping side volley. That, along with Paul Kitzen's, also deserved to go in. So Force getting some tremendously acrobatic attempts on goal. There's Walter Schmetzer talking here with his twin, Andy Schmetzer. They've been doing a good job so far.
And don't forget, Force fans, it's fun, it's exciting, it's the MISL playoffs. Don't forget to get your tickets for home playoff games A and B only. Ticket prices are $16, $14, $12, and also $8. And the tickets are available at Ticketron, the Coliseum box office, and of course, Force Soccer shops. Phone orders can be placed with Visa or MasterCard by calling Teletron at 524-0000. And that man right there, if he had an opportunity, would probably be buying some Force playoff tickets, don't you think, Bill McDermott?
Much so. And I'd like to be able to tell our fans who the opponent will be, but we still can't. It's the second last game of the season, and we still don't know who the opponent will be in the first round. Hard is that man? If he does, he's not telling.
Yep. Pondering the future of this Cleveland Force Ball Club, and I think with cautious optimism. I think if the truth be known and Timo could realize that the rest of his team would come back healthy and strong for the playoffs, I think he might like their chances to maybe come up very, very big sometime in May.
The last man we showed on camera, again, really bears careful watching. That was number 9, Alan Willie, and the Minnesota Strikers, if they have possession, when the penalty expires, they will immediately look for him to come out of the penalty box.
Well, very quickly on here in quarter number 2, Stolmeyer continues to be displeased with the call by Joe Manfrey, but Stolmeyer is going to get himself a couple of minutes.
Whistled up for tripping was number 19, John Stolmeyer, against David Byrne. And I think it's fairly obvious that John doesn't care for the call.
Well, you won't find a more intense soccer player in the MISL than number 19. He was ready and raring to go about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
He's always ready to play. Indiana graduate, as I pointed out. Another vet for the Bud Classic. Here's that last play developing. John Stolmeyer battling with number 19, David Byrne. At least in the eyes of the official, Joe Manfrey. He calls tripping. That's where John Stolmeyer is right now. For that tripping foul. He's saying, can you see the pushing by David Byrne? Well, Manfrey made the call, and that's where John Stolmeyer is.
Is that what he was saying?
I believe so.
It's amazing how you read those lips, Bill McDermott, all the way from the opposite side of the press box. Well, once again, the man advantage. The Force has killed it off once this evening successfully. They're tested again. Oh, P.J. high. And he comes down with a rebound. Boy, what a blast from the right side.
And that shot really is not to be expected from that angle by a goalkeeper. P.J. watching the action at all times, makes a nice save and prevents, again, Denny, another key, prevents the rebound.
Cummins, who has the only score, gets off the left footer, and once again, P.J. comes up with the stab. Nice distribution. Michael King, but he's run off the ball by Byrne.
The Force would be more than happy to deal with shots taken from that distance by the Minnesota Strikers. You don't want to be shooting from that distance when you have the man advantage.
Up Updating you on the other games in the MISL this evening. Baltimore now leading Dallas 2-1 at halftime. It's St. Louis 3 and Tacoma 2. And Kansas City and San Diego a little bit later on this evening. It's 1-0 Minnesota. Uh-oh, there's a dangerous play inside. PJ comes out nicely and quickly cleans up the play as Kinsey had that ball right at his feet.
Good job by PJ, and that comes under your job heading, or job description, I should say, of goalkeepers. When there's a goal mouth collision like that, the ball's rebounding around. It's your job to come out and cover up on the ball. That's exactly what he did.
Boy, that's what you get paid for, too, because there are lots of active feet, knees, and elbows. Another centering pass. No one home there.
Michael King doing his job at the point of the pyramid, point of the diamond, I should say, of running down the man with the ball. That's part of his job on this particular unit.
Boy, anytime you have Marinero and Byrne out there together, something exciting is going to happen on offense. Byrne got away a left-footed rocket, and PJ came up with that one as well.
Exactly right, Denny. And again, another man to watch is Alan Lilly at the near post.
Well, King got off his shot. He was turned around. Lettieri made the save. Uh-oh, look at that volley shot by Dennis Mepham up and over the top of the window.
For 3, Dennis Mepham, I'll talk it over with him at halftime. Another tireless performer for the Cleveland Force. Bowling Green University, Oregon State University, number 3, Dennis Mepham.
Well, the Force looks like it's done anything but concede this one here tonight. They've had plenty of good chances on goal, but that keeper right there has been red hot at home. He is 19-2 overall this season, and he's won 15 consecutive games here at the Met Center.
Is he a goalkeeper or a test pattern? Color bars.
Well, that's his own design there, we might point out.
Put paint on the pants as we get a better look now. Put paint on the pants. Put it in a revolving clothes dryer. And there was the end result. Art by accident, if you will.
Well, it's no accident that he's one of the best goalkeepers of the MISL. As a matter of fact, earlier this year, recorded his 2,000th career save. That's more than Perry Mason. Rerun wide. Kitson back on the carpet, as is Glenn Lurie. Digs it out, but Sweeney comes up with it. Now Bunbury tapped from behind, but now Sweeney controls. Under 12 minutes to play here in the first half. Force at home for a big game against Dallas tomorrow night. It's Fan Appreciation Night at the Coliseum. And that should prove to be a very exciting contest. Big crowd expected. Still tickets available, though.
Along with the fact that Dallas is in town, the Force has a chance to again lead the league in attendance with a good crowd tomorrow night.
For the 4th consecutive year.
Exactly right. So that's good impetus for fans to come out, leading the league in attendance.
PJ reading the play nicely and came out quickly to clear things away. Oh my. Bunbury, if he had seen that pass, might have been able to put a toe to it. People feel that these may be the 2 teams that play for the Eastern Division Championship by the time it's all said and done.
Well, once again, Denny, the season comes down to the second last, and last games of the year. The Force won the Eastern Division champion last year. On the last day of the season, they beat the Baltimore Blast in Baltimore. In so doing, they won 8 of their last 10 last season.
Well, there's a shot that's steered away. Swanson got a piece of it, then hit the seat of his pants. Oh, it's cleared across. Dangerfield runs on, lets the shot go, and a nice stop by PJ.
Good save by PJ Johns at the near post, turned the ball away.
Swanson bumped from behind by Dangerfield as both teams changed lines.
Here's Chris Dangerfield going forward once again. PJ Johns turns the ball away at the near post. Paul Kitson getting involved, coming back, helping on a defense.
It's amazing to me how quickly Desmond Armstrong covers the carpet.
Oh, it's next to impossible, especially when you have the ball at your feet, to attempt to outrun Desmond Armstrong. It's just not going to happen.
No. Byrne on the wing, the tap back now to Marinaro. Minnesota sets up shot now on offense. Byrne shows for it, tries to give it back to Cummins. Now Cummins on the wing with it. Crowd of nearly 9,000 expected this evening
Center. Of course, Minneapolis, Bloomington area, doing a nice job supporting their franchise. Big game on Sunday afternoon against Baltimore for Minnesota. Wrap up their regular season.
Exactly right, Danny. Baltimore and Chicago still vying for that 4th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Division race.
Well, it almost looks like keep away right now. The Force going to let Minnesota take some time off the clock as long as they don't take any shots.
They'll move around off the ball, change positions, do in large part the work like that man, number 13, Stan Cummins, and the ball all of a sudden mystically breaks loose again, Denny. Alive. They keep possession of it. A lot of players move off the ball, and you have to be careful not to get caught ball watching, because as soon as you do, they have veteran players who will find the players who are open.
Nice long pass. Kingy shows for it, gets it in the corner, tries to wall pass it in front. Kicked away nicely, though, by Troy Snyder. Now it's a sprint, and Marinero is going to win out. It's 2-on-1. There's the crossing pass. Oh, a point-blank shot stopped by P.J. Johns. Willie really let him have it.
Oh, what an absolutely fabulous save by P.J. Johns at the near post. Alan Willie in all alone. Furnished a good ball by Marinero. He should have done more with that ball, Denny, but what a splendid save by P.J. Johns.
Well, down in a tumble, and this time Willie is whistled up as he and Carl Valentine got tangled just to the right side of the box.
Boy, P.J. playing superbly so far. Here's that play again. Marinero sends in Alan Willie all alone. He chooses to hit it first time, and making the save at the near post is P.J. Johns from, as you pointed out, Denny, that was point-blank range.
That was a howitzer from short range. P.J. looking extremely sharp here this evening. Valentine with a wall pass inside that Walt Schmetzer couldn't quite bank home. And it goes to Gleason. He tries to cross the crease with it.
Keep it, Carl! You heard Jay scream out, keep it, Carl. It was a good ball out of the backfield. Valentine did a good job to show for it, made himself available. And they want to keep the ball going upfield when they have someone like Valentine at the red line.
And we've got an officials timeout. So it's 7:34 here at the Met Center in Bloomington. The pace picking up, but the Force still trails 1-0. And you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
Round of lights here?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
Because everything else is just a light.
These families are great Cleveland Force fans. Everything they buy or wear seems to shout Cleveland Force. Force t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, jerseys, balls, caps and scarves, tote bags, posters, banners and pennants, tube socks, pins and buttons, mugs and steins, and more. They're on sale at the Coliseum, Higbee's, and Better Sporting Goods stores.
Hey, we gotta go.
Or call the Force for a merchandise order blank today. Force fans, this is your year.
Around here, life hasn't changed much. Pure, fresh, uncomplicated. Fresh-picked fruit is a favorite. So is Smucker's Simply Fruit. Introducing a new fruit spread that's simply fruit. Purity you can taste. No sugar added. Around here, we like things simple. Smucker's Simply Fruit.
Aaron Galpert looking on, the head trainer for the Cleveland Force. Resigned this past week and will be heading on to greener pastures. And he spent a lot of years, 7 years, watching the Cleveland Force from the bench. And it'll be tough, I think, for him to leave, but he'll be a Force fan for life.
That's right. He's always said that it was a very difficult decision for him. He's going to really hold a fond spot always for the Cleveland Force in a major indoor soccer league.
Well, he's had his share of distressing moments this year with all the injuries and the rehabs and the re-injuries, and it's been a very, very difficult season for him.
He's really had to work overtime, Denny.
No question. I think he's basically run out of tape.
For sure.
Oh, brother. Ella Terry toys a little bit with Bobby Joe Esposito.
tries to keep it alive. Now Stolmeyer back on. I wouldn't want to be in his general vicinity right now.
No, sir. Steer clear.
Steady as she goes. Bobby Joe shows and gets it on the left wing. Dances around. Back it goes to Desi. Desi steps over, going to let one go, and that one just high and wide.
That's good work by Desmond Armstrong because he received the ball in the opposite far corner, Denny. Bobby Joe knocked it back, and he saw the time and space to go sideways and get a shot off. That's exactly what he did. He took the ball from the side of the field, from congestion to an opening so he could get a shot on goal.
Kinsey, and now it's 3-on-1. Waits, passes it through. Oh, and there's the finish off by Troy Snyder. Well, Kinsey set it up beautifully, and Snyder with an excellent ball. All he had to do was fire the net.
Well, there's one simple reason why that goal was scored, Denny. It's a game of numbers. As you pointed out, it was 3-on-1, and you're simply not going to miss opportunities like that. There's number 5, Troy Snyder. Here's how the play develops once again all the way from the midfield level. Steve Kinsey going forward, immediately looking up, caught back by himself. There's Walt Schmetzer. There's Troy Snyder. PJ came out at the near post, tried to cover up on Troy Snyder, but he put it in the only place he could have, the opposite side netting. Here's number 11, Kinsey, looking up, cushions the ball, knocks it across the face of the goal and running on to it. Here's number 5, Troy Snyder. He puts his home club, the Minnesota Strikers, on top. Scored him 2-0.
Kinsey with his second assist on the evening as well, and he has been busy here tonight. So now it's a 2-0 Striker lead.
Steve Kinsey, that's his 20th and 21st assist of the year, Denny, to go along with 32 goals. They've been getting a lot of scoring from unexpected sources so far this year, the Minnesota Strikers have.
Well, P.J. Johns basically left all alone that trip, and anytime you get these talented players with a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1, boy, they're going to try and make it come true.
And that's what any club in this league, they relish an opportunity like that, Benny, to attack with numbers.
Once again, inside the box, and down goes Gino DeFlorio, and whistled up very quickly, number 20, Tom Gleason.
What I mean by attacking in numbers is they have the numerical advantage over the defense. In that particular play, it was 3-on-1, Walt Schmetzer being the lone defender back.
Just like a basketball fast break, the minute a defender comes out and steps up on you, you get the ball to the open man, and then you just convert the layup.
Exactly right, and you're really asking a lot of your goalkeeper to prevent a goal when it's 3-on-1.
Yep. You're pretty much in a guessing game. Carl Valentine with a great individual move, and Carl with a left footer. Ho, 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 my.
This guy scores goals from unbelievably difficult angles on goal. Number 10, Carl Valentine with his 22nd goal of the year. Here it is again. Bodies off defenders, cuts off defenders, takes the ball away from the defender. The end result goes across the face of the goal and across his body. Hits the ball with the left foot and puts it past Tino. Here's an excellent view. Number 10, Carl Valentine spins that ball with the inside of his left foot and draws the Cleveland Force to within one. Number 10, Carl Valentine. Very nicely done. Does his job, shows for the ball, digs the ball out, beats defenders, goes across the face of the goal, shoots it across his body. What else do you want to do?
The human highlight film. Carl Valentine really taking matters into his own hand that trip. And the Force is now back to within a 2-1 count, and that should help a little bit.
Very much so. That's what you want your big players, your veteran players to do, Denny. Alter the outcome of the game when they have the ball.
Gino, tied up by Snyder, steps around, clears it off. Oh, what a pass that time. And King scores. And oh, look at Lettieri. He can't believe it as the entire Force team comes out to congratulate Michael King.
Michael King simply runs across the face of the goal and redirects it. This is an absolutely tremendous play, engineered by number 11, Gino DeFlorio, and number 13, Michael King. Very nicely done as the Force equalizes. Who starts at number 10? Carl Valentine lays the ball to DeFlorio, who does a beautiful job of bodying off number 5, Troy Snyder. He blisters it across the face of the goal, and number 13 gets inside of number 13 to slot home an equalizer. Here it is again. DeFlorio is simply looking to knock this ball across the face of the goal. hoping that somebody will run onto it. That's exactly what Michael King did. I think you could have put that ball in there.
Now, wait a minute. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Great
It is
pass.
near the end of the season.
Great pass across the face of the goal by DeFlorio, and Michael King gets in behind Stan Cummins for an equalizer. Very nicely done.
Goal number 17 for Kingy, and he's been on a tear the last 3 or 4 weeks, as has been DeFlorio. Gino now with 22 points in his last 16 games.
It's only Michael King's 15th goal in 17 games.
Oh, my. Willie with a shot that goes a little bit wide. Stolmeyer going to run out of a traffic jam with it. Well, this one is certainly heated up with about 3:55 left to go in quarter number 2. Things were looking bleak as the Strikers took a 2-0 advantage, but oh my, lightning struck twice here in a very short time, and the Force has bounced back off terrific goals by Carl Valentine and Michael King, and Cummins that time got a little trip, and that's the 6th team foul against the Strikers. So for the second time this evening, the team foul comes into a play.
Good play by Bobby Joe Esposito to draw that foul. He came out of his own forward line, saw that his teammates were having a difficult time getting the ball out of their own backfield, so he came back to help out. In the process, drew the foul.
3:46 remaining here in quarter number 2. As Willie will head towards the penalty box. And this one now far from over as the Forces come back with the equalizer. And, well, those were 2 spectacular goals.
Very nicely done. The Force have had some excellent opportunities for shots on goal as the Cleveland Force calls a timeout.
And we've got a timeout on the field, so we'll take a break and catch our breath as the Cleveland Force is coming storming back here at the Met Center. Our score now, Cleveland 2 and Minnesota 2, and you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
Today, more kids play organized soccer than organized football, and you can sign up your budding star for his or her greatest summer ever, a Force Soccer Camp. Here, kids from 6 to 16 see and play with real pros, Cleveland Force pros as instructors.
They taught me new skills and they helped me improve my old ones. I really had a great time there. I think everyone else did too.
Call for details on the Force Soccer Camp near you.
Soccer players, this is your year.
And we're back at the Met Center. It's a 2-2 contest. Force and Strikers. Don't forget, kids, get a free Force Pavilion mini ball. Just go out to the Pavilion Mall in Beechwood from 2 to 4 p.m. and be one of the first 300 people. And you, of course, will get yourself a free mini ball. Also, Force players will be signing autographs, giving soccer demonstrations, and there'll be a raffle. They'll be raffling off some prizes, including T-shirts, sweatshirts, wristbands, and headbands. And remember, bring your camera to have the opportunity to take a picture with one of the Cleveland Force players.
And appreciation night as we look at Jay Hoffman, the assistant coach of the Cleveland Force. Timo and Timo Liakowski has really built a real powerhouse in Cleveland. As a matter of fact, Timo needs just 2 victories. It would be appropriate to win these last 2 games of the year. He'll be the second coach in the history of the Major Indoor Soccer League to have won 200 games. The coach, of course, being Kenny Cooper.
Snyder trying to control, but Valentine's the one who comes up with the ball. Under 3.5 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. The Force has been fighting back here this evening. Trailed 2-0 at one stage. And Carl Valentine and Michael King changed the tune in this one.
Well, they really did it in dramatic fashion, too, Denny. Some really nice, electrifying goals for the Cleveland Force. Important to get back into this game so that the Force can prove to themselves that, yes, they can indeed play in this building and win eventually in this building.
Force with the man advantage. Right now, just moving around the perimeter. Schmetzer tries to chip it inside. Valentine controls. Carl bumped away by Snyder. Stolmeyer in the corner. Force has yet to put a shot on goal in this advantage situation. Schmetzer gets it loose. Oh, it's just in front, and Stolmeyer thought about getting a piece of it, but Lettieri covered it up.
Same type of play the Force just scored on. Knock the ball across the face of the goal, low and hard across the penalty spot, and just have one of your players run onto it and redirect it in the goal.
DeFlorio on the wing down to Carl Valentine, who already has 1 score tonight, maybe looking for a second. 25 seconds left in the advantage, and it goes all the way back to PJ. So the Force going to try and get off a shot here before the advantage is over. On the wing it goes. Stolmeyer had
a piece of it. Lettieri came back and blocked it away.
Well, what a fabulous pass by Gino DeFlorio to find John Stolmeyer on mark.
Gino DiPolito. Handball is called. And so the Cleveland Force, I think, going to come up a little bit short here in the man advantage.
1:52 remaining in this first half. The score is tied at 2 apiece, but the Cleveland Force have really had some excellent opportunities for shots on goal as the Minnesota Strikers call a timeout.
Well, let's take a look at what Tino is talking about, perhaps.
Here's Walter Smetzer knocking it across the face of the goal. Troy Snyder defending against John Stolmeyer. John saw that ball lying loose for just that brief moment. He tried to take another toe poke at it. You saw the last part of the play was Lettieri looking upfield, immediately trying to go long because he saw 3 Force players deep in his own end. He had a chance to go forward, maybe catch an end shot hit at the other end. Didn't quite work out, but he's always looking to make that play happen.
Well, let's eavesdrop a little bit here and see if we can find out what the Brain Trust is talking about.
Timo J encouraging these young players and good stuff, and I think Glenn Lurie is going to come on.
Drinking Coors or Coors Light.
Reason, Denny, that's to take a shot as quickly as possible, and he won't hesitate to do so. He's been sent out along with Doug Swanson, and that's a real confidence builder for these young players being put in the game at an important time.
And we can update you now on the MISL scoreboard this evening. It's Baltimore 2, Dallas 1. That one now in the third. Tacoma and St. Louis tied up at 3 apiece in quarter number 2, and Kansas City and San Diego playing a little bit later on this evening. Of course, Dallas and Cleveland at the Coliseum tomorrow night. Baltimore comes here to the Met Center to wrap up their regular season on Sunday afternoon. Under 2 minutes now to go in the first half of play, and we're squared at 2 apiece. Minnesota scored the first 2, and the Force bounced back to tie things up. Lurie controls. Now he loses
it. Winning techniques from the nation's top.
Force not able to capitalize on the last man advantage situation, but it wasn't for the lack of some good opportunities, Denny.
Well, PJ slowing down the tempo a little bit. I think the Force may be content to go to the intermission tied at 2 apiece, talk things over.
And simply because they're the team that has got the last 2 goals to draw even.
Cummings on the move now on the right wing. Dennis Mepham out to mark him. And Mepham with a little leg show that time.
Defensive middle guard.
Foul number 4 against the Force.
And there was no question whatsoever about that foul because Dennis was beaten on the play. He simply stepped in front of Stan Cummins, committed the obstruction foul.
A quick shot off the start in. Lurie bicycles it out. Kitson gets racked from behind. No call there. O'Hara on the wing to Gleason. Gets off a shot. That one right underneath the toes of Dennis Mepham. Kitson and Benny Dargle work a little 2-on-1. Kitson comes away with it. And nice to see Paul Kitson back on the carpet one more time. He's only played a couple of games. Well, the fans want a foul, but
there's none committed.
I don't think so either. Long shot, and that one nearly wide of the mark. Dennis Mepham with about a 60-footer. In front it goes, steered away. It's still loose, and at the buzzer, that one kicks straight up in the air. Well.
And hi once again, everybody. Welcome to MISL Week. I'm John Losing, along with league survivability. And let's begin with our headlines concerning the salary cap issue. Randy, still some unresolved items.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser. This Bud's for all the guys who go out of their way.
This Bud's for you. Have you any idea how much power you possess? Every time you hit a switch, turn a dial, plug in a cord, press a button, you conduct your own electricity. Turn it on, keep it hot, set it back. Play it smart. Save yourself energy and money. To find out more, call for your free copy of the Electric Decision Maker. And remember, practice makes perfect.
Making today a little brighter.
Time at the Met Center, and we have an opportunity to talk it over with a very talented player for the Cleveland Force, midfield defender. I guess, Dennis Meffam, that should be the first question right off the top. What is your preference on the squad, to play in the back or be more of an attacking role as a midfielder?
Well, I think I probably prefer playing midfield. I get a little more chance to play up front, though I've been playing defensively the last few games, so it doesn't really matter, though. I'm going to, push up as much as I can.
Dennis missed a career-high 20 games this year, and that supposedly stemmed from an innocent tackle back in one of our telecasts, Dennis, January 17th to be exact, against the Dallas Sidekicks. It wasn't too innocent to you, was it?
Well, no. I mean, even though after it happened, I thought I'd be out a couple of weeks. I never thought I'd miss 2 months. Apparently, it's just one of those injuries that, doesn't recover too fast. Between a broken bone and the bruised muscle, it just took, much too long for me. But it's over with, so we'll just go on from there.
Dennis said much too long for him. That's very frustrating, isn't it, to sit out that long?
Oh, sure. I never sat out more than a couple games at a time, and so it's very hard to have a positive outlook and be involved with the team in the game when you can't do anything but watch.
Dennis, you've played over 300 games in this league, the longest-serving player in a Force game-wise. You started with the Buffalo Stallions. Things have really changed in this league, haven't they?
Well, they certainly have. People are starting to figure out different ways to do things easier and win games different ways. It's just it's still learning. Nobody knows exactly the best way yet to play. There's so many styles. Each team and each coach has their own way of doing things, and for the next few years, it's going to be the same way. You're going to see new styles all the time.
The Force has had a new style this year, in particular, due to the large influx of younger players, and they have really done a tremendous job.
Well, usually you only see 1 or 2 new players come out and get a chance to play. This year, they've all had their chances to play, and they all got to be happy about that. And in the long run, that'll probably help us out, because when we have injuries in the future or in the playoffs, when we need someone to play, we know that what they can do. They've already proved it to us.
It's fun to play with those youngsters, isn't it?
Oh, it is. They'll do anything for you. No run, no tackle. All they need is the experience.
Dennis, you've been around the league quite a few years, as I mentioned, starting with the Buffalo Stallions. And this year comes a little crux of the issue, and that is labor relations and bargaining between the players' union and the owners. Give me your input as to what you think is going to occur.
Well, I think we'll certainly come to some sort of agreement. It's just a matter that this is a young league. We've been around for 10 years, and there's just a lot of things to be worked out. We don't have the TV contracts like the other sports. So financially, we really have to be careful, and that's basically what we're all trying to do, is keep the league afloat. It's just that we are at opposite ends. Basically, when it comes down to money, we're being asked to take some more money out of our pocket so that the league can survive, and I'm sure we will. It's just a matter of getting everything down on paper.
The deadline is tonight, but as you mentioned, things will work out. But the entertainment value for the family to come see soccer in the Major Indoor Soccer League is still there, isn't it?
Oh, I think this is probably one of the best sports to bring your family to. It's we're not talking like hockey, where you have to be careful with all the violence, and get season tickets are affordable versus other sports like basketball and baseball, where you really can't afford to bring a family of 4 and pay for that many games. So right now, it's just a great value.
Dennis, you're very active in the community in Cleveland. That's a really bonus to being involved in the Cleveland area, getting out, being involved in the community, and helping younger people.
You just can't just sit there and play soccer and expect people to come and watch. You have to give something back to the community, and that's what we pretty much do with the clinics. A lot of charity work and anti-drug speeches. It's very important that we give something back, and that's how we do it.
Thank you, Dennis, very much, and have a good rest of the season, and stay healthy for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Dennis Meffam, the attacker and midfielder for the Cleveland Force. As I mentioned, he'll play wherever you like. And we'll be back with more halftime. Right after this, you're watching the Cleveland Force Soccer on WOIO.
When the Bonells were buying this house, they needed a homeowner's policy in time for the closing. They called me. I'm State Farm Agent Larry Bruce. I inspected the property and made sure they had the coverage they needed. No delays, no red tape. When the big day came, they were ready, and so was the policy. Fast, personal service for all a family's insurance needs. That's what my job is all about.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Is your company getting soaked by high hospital costs? Take advantage of the buying power of Super Blue. When Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Ohio fought for the right to negotiate with hospitals, we won for you. Now we can work with hospitals committed to quality health care at an affordable price. Chances are, with Super Blue, your employees can get even better hospital benefits, and your company will save money, too. Call your independent insurance agent or Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Ohio for Super Blue.
Good news. Boating season is just ahead. So leap to the boat pad in Lorain and Port Clinton. Power boats by Stamus and Regal from 18 to 36 feet. Cruising and performance sailboats from 15 to 50 feet by Express, Island Packet, and Passport. Also a fine selection of pre-owned boats. At the boat pad, we service what we sell, and we guarantee what we service year-round. Our 12,000 square foot service building is truly a complete maintenance facility. From minor repairs to full commissioning of a 40-footer. The boat pad in Lorain and Port Clinton.
There's more Cleveland Force soccer action coming up tomorrow night on 19. It's the Force's final game before moving on to the playoffs. See it here as they take on the Dallas Sidekicks at 8. Don't miss a second of the action.
The Force is with you on 19.
Be here for the heart-stopping excitement of indoor soccer. The Force and the Sidekicks live tomorrow night only on the television home of the Cleveland Force, 19.
And now it's time for Force Fun Facts. On Thursday, June 16th at 11:30 a.m., it's the 3rd annual kickoff luncheon for the Budweiser Soccer Classic. Be sure to join the nation's top 60 collegiate stars at Stouffer's Tower City Plaza. For a seat at this great luncheon event, just send $30 per person in care of the Cleveland Force, 34555 Chagrin Boulevard, Moreland Hills, Ohio, 44022. All proceeds go toward the Ronald McDonald House charity. Also on Thursday, June 16th at 5:30 p.m., join these same stars at the Coliseum as they play 2 regulation indoor soccer games. Tickets are available at Ticketron, the Coliseum box office, and 4 soccer shops. Phone orders can be placed with Visa or MasterCard by calling Teletron at 524-0000. And remember, the Major Indoor Soccer League Draft, which is open to the public, starts at 10 a.m. on Friday, June 17th, also at Stouffer Tower City Plaza in downtown Cleveland. Force fans, limited edition 3rd annual Budweiser Soccer Classic merchandise, like these, including sweatshirts, t-shirts, pins, caps, and pennants, are now available through B&W Products at 247-4740. Fans, this is the 10th anniversary yearbook, The Force Years. This yearbook includes pictures and stories of the first Force team, pictures of your past favorite Force players, and even some puzzles and a contest. This great collector's item can be yours at Force home games for $7.50 or by sending in $7 plus $2 shipping and handling to the Force office, 34555 Chagrin Boulevard, Moreland Hills, Ohio, 44022. We'll be back soon with more Force Fun Facts.
Well, they're jumping for joy here at the Met Center at halftime, but I don't know why. This one's tied up at 2 apiece as the Cleveland Force, after trailing 2-0 in the early stages, bounced back with a couple of terrific scores in quarter number 2 to tie things up, Bill McDermott, at 2-2 here at the intermission.
And the Cleveland Force, at the outset of the game, Denny, in the first quarter, having a little difficult time getting on track here, having a difficult time getting the ball to their own end, and consequently gave the ball up. But they really caught fire in that second quarter and got back into the game very nicely at the most important part of the first half when they were trailing by a score of 2-0.
And let's take a look at the highlights provided to you by the good folks at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Northeastern Ohio.
And the Minnesota Strikers got on top early in this game. Steve Kinsey takes a shot, rebounds all over the place. He eventually gets his own rebound, lays it off to number 13, Stan Cummins, who was unmarked. He got it behind that last defender, and he put his club on top very early on. Then the Minnesota Strikers again get involved in the flow of the attack. It's the Troy Snyder this time. He breaks loose the ball to number 11, Steve Kinsey. Now watch, the play is far from being over. Kinsey looks up and knocks the ball square to who? Number 5, Troy Snyder, who started the play at the opposite end of the field. Troy Snyder slots home very nicely and puts his club on top by a score of 2-0. But the Cleveland Force will have nothing of it. Dennis Bepham gets involved in the attack, lays it off to Carl Valentine. It wasn't easy to go forward for number 10, Carl Valentine, but he's very comfortable in close, tight situations like this. Breaks the ball to the center of the field, does number 10, Carl Valentine, and beats Tino Lettieri inside at the near post. Very nicely done by Carl Valentine. Tino Lettieri caught off his own line, gives it to the wrong man. Number 10, Carl Valentine, looks up,
goes forward, finds DeFlorio, who bodies off number 5, Troy Snyder. Number 11, DeFlorio laces this ball low and hard across the near post, and who runs onto it but number 13, Michael King, who has become a real prolific scorer late in this current season.
And if that wasn't enough, this isn't a goal, but what a great try.
Glenn Lurie takes a shot on goal. Now watch the end result of this play. It rebounds to number 7, Paul Kitson, who takes a shot. He gets his own rebound off the head of Hector Marinero. Watch this, not for weekend players. Number 7, Paul Kitson, his first game back in an eternity, takes a shot on goal. That was splendid.
Well, I know one thing. If you keep shooting like that, you'll head to the chiropractor before too long. And one final question for you, Bill. What does Timo tell the troops now at halftime? Is it critical for them to come out and score the first goal of the third quarter?
Well, the only thing for Cleveland is it's unfortunate that halftime came now, because they were clearly playing on top of the Minnesota Strikers. Keep up the flow of the attack, keep these young players involved in the flow of the game, and keep the ball away from Minnesota.
All right, Force fans, keep your fingers crossed. We'll be back with the start of the third quarter right after these messages.
You know natural gas is the most efficient, economical fuel for heating your home or water. And natural gas has always been the choice of industry, too. In fact, one energy company is helping reshape the polymer industry by working to develop gas equipment that is more economical and more productive. So in the world market, Northeast Ohio is more competitive. What company? The East Ohio Gas Company.
How would you like to drive a brand new Toyota Corolla FX or a new Toyota standard bed truck for about $99 a month? Special restrictions may apply. So hurry. For $99.41 a month, you can lease a brand new Toyota with the big extra no one else can offer. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
With every Budweiser enjoyed, the promise endures. The promise of genuine quality. Quality you can taste. Clean, crisp, Beechwood aged Budweiser. Always certain, always satisfying. Because we know you wouldn't have it any other way. That's why this Bud's for you.
My new father-in-law is here from Italy, so I brought him to a real Italian restaurant. Big Boy.
Mio genere è uno stupido.
He says he's happy to be here.
Mia figlia ha sposato un imbecille.
Hey, he says the Italian dinners are really delicious, like all the good food at Big Boy.
Now, tangy veal parmesan's just $4.25. Lots of delicious savings at Big Boy's Italian Festival.
Delizioso. Forse non è così ignorante come sembra.
America loves its Big Boy.
Amore, I love you too, Dad.
Oh.
Hi, we're back with more Force Fun Facts. After the game or anytime, follow your heart to Mr. Hero. The coupon on your Force game ticket saves $1 on a meal, including any regular size sandwich, large potato Whopper fries, and large soft drink. When you know what you really want, follow your heart to Mr. Hero. Force fans, it's fun, it's exciting, it's the MISL playoffs. Get your tickets for home playoff games A and B only. Ticket prices are $16, $14, $12, and $8, and they're available at Ticketron, the Coliseum box office, and 4 soccer shops. Phone orders can be placed with Visa or MasterCard by calling Teletron at 524-0000. Tomorrow night, when the Force and Sidekicks battle for second place, it's Fan Appreciation Night and Budweiser Poster Night. The first 5,000 adults receive a great-looking Force Budweiser poster. That's right, the first 5,000 adults. It's a special gift from Budweiser to thank you, the fans, for your support of the 88-89 Force. Go to the Coliseum tomorrow night and don't miss the battle for second place between the Force and Sidekicks and Fan Appreciation Night. Tickets are available at Ticketron, the Coliseum box office, and 4 soccer shops. Prices are $14, $12, $10, and $6. Also, phone orders with Visa or MasterCard can be called into Teletron at 524-0000. And that's Force Fun Facts.
Well, Well, we're in Minnesota, but it's been a Mexican standoff between P.J. Johns and Tino Lettieri.
Well, there's one thing that hasn't changed. The same goalkeepers that started the game begin the second half. They've both been called upon to make some excellent saves, and they've been more than capable of doing just that.
Makeshift unit for the Cleveland Force. Tied with the strikers here at halftime, 2-2. Just underway here in quarter number 3. Of course, keep in mind, if the Force would win tonight, win tomorrow night against Dallas, they would still have a chance of clinching the Eastern Division.
They would. 2 Force wins and 2 Minnesota losses would do it for them. They'd capture the 3rd Eastern Division championship in a row.
Long shot out front by Hector Marinaro. That one blocked aside. Gino DeFlorio clears it out, but back it comes in a hurry, laid off, and sliding through Benny Dargle to try and create some havoc.
Good sliding tackle by Dargle, because that ball was going to be hit first time by a Minnesota striker forward, so Dargle did his job.
Updating you now, it's 4-1 Baltimore in the 4th over Dallas. It appears as if Kenny Cooper and his crew are going to come up with a victory tonight. Long pass out. Gino needs to control and start on the run. A step over move, gets off a blast, and he beats Lettieri from 35 feet.
Whew. What a fabulous goal by Gino DeFlorio, who now has scored 12 goals along with 10 assists over the last 17 games. Number 11, Gino DeFlorio, a great ball out of the backfield by P.J. Johns, and he absolutely beats the keeper, Tino Lettieri, on this shot. Does number 11, Gino DeFlorio. Here's the end result of that pass. Good ball out of the back by Johns. Now watch number 11, DeFlorio. He goes to his more comfortable left foot. Tino Lettieri at left, standing flat-footed. And number 11, Gino DeFlorio, clearly beats the Minnesota keeper. Very nicely done between P.J. Johns and Gino DeFlorio.
So at 1:06 of quarter number 3, DeFlorio unknots the tie, and all of a sudden it's a bit quiet here in Bloomington.
Gino DeFlorio recording his 22nd goal of the year, assisted by P.J. Johns.
If I'm not mistaken, that's a record for a goaltender as well, with his 6th assist on the season.
Exactly right.
Well, the table has been turned. Now the question is, can Cleveland hang on to the momentum and keep the strikers from crossing the crease? Oh my, a victory tonight would really shake things up here in Bloomington.
That's his 6th assist of the year for P.J. Johns, so that indeed does tie a record. Very nicely done by P.J.
Cummings ahead. That one steered away, chested away by Desmond Armstrong. Desi on the move now to midfield. Lays it off, and Bobby Joe sprinting down the right sideline. Off the window she goes and through the box, and nobody there. Running onto it, Stolmeyer. Oh, Stoley with the hardest shot of the season. That one nearly cracked the glass, and it finally ended up over the top. Oh, my.
Well, it's just fortunate that not only a Minnesota striker player didn't get in the way, but it's fortunate that nobody got in the way of that shot. Everybody in the building thought that John Stolmeyer was just going to run onto it and block it. I thought he was going to commit a block ball and then try to win the ball and go forward. I had no idea he was going to hit that ball first time, but that's the type of player that Stolmeyer is. He runs onto it, cracks the ball from out of nowhere, and that thing, that threatened bodily harm to anybody dare get in its way.
I'll tell you what, you could have been maimed for life accidentally had you been in the way of that one. Ooh. Oh my, Stoley really unleashed one. Well, the Force coming out, and the fur is flying right now. I think Cleveland's done anything but concede the Eastern Division. Inside the box, running onto it, a near header that time by Sweeney, who got tangled up, and there's a whistle by Manfred.
And a good job by Michael Bean to help out on defense.
And we'll take a break as it heats up here at the Met Center. It's Cleveland 3, Minnesota 2, and you're watching Force Soccer on 19.
Motor Cars Honda has moved to its new location, 2953 Mayfield. Huge selection from special shipments and great prices. A Civic 4-door DX5 Speed from $87.95 or lease from $151 a month. An Accord 4-door DX5 Speed from $11,175 or lease from $185 a month. A Prelude S 5-Speed from $13,495 or lease from $217 a month. Motor Cars Honda, 2953 Mayfield Road at Superior, Cleveland Heights, 932-2400.
The Force back home tomorrow night against Dallas. It's Fan Appreciation Night, and Cleveland Force organization expecting a big crowd tomorrow night up in Richfield. Tickets are still available. And as Bill mentioned a little bit earlier, if they come up, I think, with 16,000 or more, the Force will lead the MISL in attendance for the 4th consecutive year.
Well, they're just barely behind in average attendance right now to the Kansas City Comets, who are leading with 11,211. The Force have 11,036. So with a real nice crowd tomorrow night, they can record their 4th leading lead. As I'm talking, they score a goal.
Well, Byrne kept it alive. Dargo got tangled up, and Hector Marinaro ran onto it and knocked it home. P.J. Johns left defenseless, and this one is all square now at 3 apiece.
Well, that's Hector Marinaro for the Minnesota Strikers. Their leading goal scorer. As a matter of fact, the first player in Minnesota Strikers history to score 50 goals. Benny Dargo, usually sure in the back, momentarily loses the ball to David Byrne. Running onto it is number 21, Hector Marinaro. But that's the reason that play occurred, Denny. The ball was not cleared out of the backfield in a comfortable fashion. Number 21, Byrne, lays it across the face of the goal to Marinaro, who just toe pokes it past Michael King, and the end result is an equalizing goal.
We're all tied now at 3 apiece. And this one, to say the least, has been an entertaining MISL soccer game.
As I was about to say, Denny, the Force could lead the league in attendance for the 4th consecutive year with a nice crowd tomorrow night. There's number 21, Hector Marinaro, recording his 56th goal of the year.
Well, when you watch a game like this one this evening, where both teams are playing outstanding offense, some very exciting plays, great defense, nice saves, and you think about the fact that they're holding that meeting, last-minute meeting in Washington, and this could all come to an end after midnight tonight. It's kind of a scary thought.
The players obviously playing this match with no concern for what's going on at that meeting, because they're playing as if the game just started. The season just started, I should say.
Carl Valentine. Ahead it goes to Gino DeFlorio. Gino loses it to Troy Snyder, and back it goes to Tino Leteri.
Force have to be careful with their giveaways in their own defensive third, and that's exactly what occurred in that last play.
Oh, this is a dangerous play. Johns came out, got the shot off and away, and Hector Marinaro and Johns collided, and that was near disaster.
Another good job by P.J. Johns. Here's that play once again. Marinaro and Johns running for a 50-50 ball. They collide, but it was a legal collision as number 24, P.J. runs into Hector Marinaro. Both players going for the same ball. Nice clearance by P.J. Johns, who came off his line very alertly and stuck with the decision.
P.J. Johns, 17 wins, 17 losses on the season, a goals against average of 3.76.
He's been called upon, Denny, to do a lot of work because of the injury to Victor Nogueira.
Willie lets it go. A left footer. P.J. with the initial stop, and Bobby Joe Esposito kicks it back to him.
What more can you say? Just another fabulous save by P.J. Johns, this time at the near post, again from inside the penalty area.
Bobby Joe on the wing gets it off on the wall, but clearing it away nicely that time. On defense, number 10, Greg Thompson.
It was good work there by Walter Schmetzer to come back, help on defense, regain possession of the ball.
Willie over the top of Bobby Joe Esposito. Walt Schmetzer steps in, lets the left footer go, ricochets around the box. Well, this one's been a solid game ever since the opening minute. Showing forward in the left corner. This one ricochets away from him. Cummings runs onto it, tries to keep it alive, and Stolmeyer again gets whistled up, and now it's nose to nose. Cummins and also Stolmeyer, and John's been a busy defender here this evening.
Number 19, John Stolmeyer. Stan Cummins thinks that, well, because he's a sophomore in the league, he's going to be timid. Well, he can forget that notion.
Well, let's follow number 13 and number 19 and see if they meet somewhere in between here in the next couple of minutes.
Walter Schmetzer thought his twin was running forward there, and it was almost, that play almost worked, Denny.
Bobby Joe Back it goes to Stolmeyer, and he lays this one off now to Waldschmetzer. Mepham ahead it goes on the left wing, but Lettieri out quickly to see the play. Andy Schmetzer and Cummings get a little tangled up, but they say play on. Oh, it's getting fast and physical down there right now. Mepham tries to run onto a ball, and there's a whistle and a foul.
Whew, I don't know if I'd want to be out there right now, Denny. No, thank you.
Well, this could be a...
They don't tackle like this in the over 30 league.
No, they they don't tackle at all in the over 30 league, do they? Which, of course, you're the star of in the St. Louis area. Well, Byrne using his head, bicycle kick, tries to pass it to Marinero, and those two players, when they get on the floor together, are a dangerous crew indeed.
And as you pointed out in the first quarter, David Byrne is that target man a la Craig Allen for the Minnesota Strikers, and he's very comfortable playing with his back to the goal. There's number 3, Dennis Mepham, excuse me, Denny, who's drawn the task of marking David Byrne, who's really made a career, number 19 has, out of playing against the Cleveland Force.
As I mentioned, 9:13 left to go here in quarter number 3, and we're all tied up at 3 apiece. It was 2-2. Or make that 3-2 just a couple of minutes ago. 2-2 at halftime. Byrne all alone this time. Let's go with the right foot. That one's wide of the mark.
Another giveaway by the Cleveland Force trying to get the ball to their own end, Denny.
Marinero tries to lay it back to Sweeney and a little bit too far. Number 8. O'Hara takes a look and then back out it goes. Troy Snyder, who already has a score this evening. This one up over the top. DJ can't get the gloves to it. Byrne tries to work against Mepham. Wherever number 19 goes, number 3 is not far behind. Oh, that one nearly deflected past P.J. Johns. Minnesota keeps up the pressure. Marinero now playing that target position a little bit.
All the pressure being applied by Minnesota, as you pointed out, Denny, because they're doing a very nice job of keeping the ball.
Kinsey. Back it goes to O'Hara. Tries to let a left footer go, and Gino DeFlorio knocks that one down. Tino Lettieri now all the way out to the red line. Kingy with some pressure. Mepham now with a nice head pass to Carl Valentine.
That was nicely done by Dennis Mepham because he played defense and deadened the ball off his head. He cushioned it very nicely for Carl Valentine. It was his job to defend, then get it the ball to Valentine, whose job it is to bring the ball forward.
DeFlorio shows for it. And then back it goes to Carl Valentine. So it's the Force's opportunity now to play a little offense. Valentine on a run on the wing. Slows it up, tries to control. He's double teamed now. Carl tried to keep it alive, but he couldn't. Now he steals it away from Alan Willie. Oh, a nice pass. Oh, and one pass, perhaps too many for Michael King.
Exactly right. Very surprised that Michael King did not hit that shot first time himself, Benny.
DeFlorio with 2 blasts. That one, I think, hit the bar. Once again, Carl deadens it, tries to keep it alive. Step over move, gets a shot away. That one won't go. Well, the Force continues the assault on offense. Mepham controls, spins all the way around, and there's a whistle. I think it's an official's time.
Gino called an official timeout.
And we'll take a break here with 6:41 left in quarter number 3. It's Cleveland 3, Minnesota 3. You're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
If you've been trying to control the cost of your company's health benefits program, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Ohio has one less worry for you. Super Blue. Chances are your employees can get even better hospital benefits, and your company will save money, too. Call your independent insurance agent or Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Ohio for Super Blue, the right choice at the right price.
Around here, life hasn't changed much. Pure, fresh, uncomplicated. Fresh-picked fruit is a favorite. So is Smucker's Simply Fruit. Introducing a new fruit spread that's simply fruit. Purity you can taste. no sugar added. Around here, we like things simple. Smucker's Simply Fruit.
We're 19, WOIO, Shaker Heights, Cleveland.
Here's number 10, Carl Valentine, again getting involved in the offense. Watch this shot by Gino DeFlorio. The first one, now on the rebound with his right foot this time. Number 11, Gino DeFlorio, just eluding the far post, and Michael King in the process. Michael simply couldn't react to it then because it was hit so hard by Gino with his right foot.
And don't forget, tomorrow night when the Force and the Sidekicks battle for second place, it's Fan Appreciation and Budweiser Poster Night. The first 5,000 adults will be receiving a great-looking Budweiser poster. That's right, the first 5,000 adults. Marinero beats, tries to wall pass to himself. It's in front again. Now Desmond Armstrong playing a little goalie of his own, and Desmond in the right spot at the right time. Oh my, another collision, and you would think that this is one of the playoff games for the Eastern Division Championship.
Woo. Andy Schmetzer collides with number 20, Tom Gleason. That's a real dangerous ball to be heading that low to the ground. And number 20, Tom Gleason, is feeling the effects of that last play. He went to head the ball, and Andy Schmetzer was going forward. He came up with a high foot. Andy Schmetzer did. Ooh, that's a high foot on Andy Schmetzer, and Tom Gleason gets hit in the forehead in the process. This has really been a wild, hotly fought battle in this third quarter. Andy went over to see if he was okay.
Well, when they start staggering around and walking around in circles, it's like a Mike Tyson right hand, and apparently he's still down on one knee. We've got an update score-wise for him, but we'll take one more look.
Here's that last play developing again. Number 22, Andy Schmetzer, with number 20, Tom Gleason of Minnesota. High foot on number 22, Andy Schmetzer, and he realized it. He went over to see if Tom Gleason was okay. He's being attended to by the Strikers trainers alongside. The trainer is the coach, Alan Merrick. He's obviously concerned. 6:13 remaining for each.
Baltimore leading Dallas now 5-1 in the fourth. St. Louis over Tacoma 6-4 in the third with 7 minutes left, and so it would appear as if Baltimore is headed for a playoff spot. And there you see number 20, Tommy Gleason, heading towards the bench, and he'll get a chance to cool his heels and right himself. And boy, I tell you, it's tough out there on the field.
In particular in this third quarter.
No doubt about it. Very fast and physical. And if you're at home, though, might be a nice time to take a break in the action, grab yourself a nice cold Budweiser, and enjoy that clean, crisp taste. That's right. This Budweiser's for you. And, right now, David, or I should say Tommy Gleason, could probably use a nice cold Budweiser. Bill Gerlich?
Oh, I think so. Along with an ice pack.
Yeah. Relax a little bit. Of course, we'll be naming a Budweiser player of the game at the end of this one. 3-3 is the tie, and trying to dig it out of there is Bobby Joe Esposito, but Lettieri gets his hands on it.
Lettieri eventually ended up with the ball, Denny Schreier, but Bobby Joe did a very nice job of keeping control of the ball, keeping the ball deep in the Minnesota end. He had possession of the ball.
Well, the lead paragraph in this one was all Minnesota, as the Strikers scored the first 2 goals in this one. Stan Cummings scoring very quickly in the ball game at 5:19 to give Minnesota a 1-0 lead. And then Troy Snyder made it a 2-0 contest. The Force bounced right back, though. Carl Valentine and Michael King scoring to tie things up before the halftime buzzer. And then both teams have scored in quarter number 3. Gino DeFlorio off the assist from P.J. Johns, and Hector Marinaro with goal number 56 on the season. That was the equalizer here.
You know, Denny, Minnesota had a chance to win this Eastern Division and put everything, the last 2 games of the season, really playing for other positions. At least the other teams would have been. They had a chance Tuesday night to do so, but they failed to beat Chicago in Chicago.
Stolmeyer head to Andy Schmetzer. Andy on the right wing, run off the ball. Down he goes. Desmond Armstrong controls now, though.
It's good work by Desmond Armstrong to get the ball away from all the congestion, the confusion, and bring it back and keep possession in the process.
Walt Schmetzer being forced back goal side by Kinsey. Andy Schmetzer bumped and pushed from behind, and that's team foul number 2 on the Strikers. Esposito shows forward in the right-hand corner. Now back she goes to John Stolmeyer. Andy Schmetzer tries to use the window. Bobby Joe there. Stolmeyer tries to run onto it. Almost loses his nose.
Mention the fact that Bobby Joe Esposito shows for the ball. That's a real key, Denny. Whether you're a first-year player or a 7-year player, it makes no difference. That's Alan Merrick, the head coach of the Strikers. You have to make yourself available for your teammates, in particular when you're having a difficult time getting the ball in your own end. So it's a real key what you do away from the ball as just as important, perhaps more important than when you have the ball.
PJ starts it by hitting Carl Valentine. Now Valentine whistle. And that's team foul number 5 against the Force with 4:11 left to go here in the third stanza.
Don't know if I agree with that particular call, but number 5 in the black and white is Gino DiPolito, and he made the call as soon as it occurred.
Looked like Valentine had the position.
He was simply using his body as a shield to shield off the defender.
O'Hara at the red line. In it goes. Kinsey with a backheeler to O'Hara. PJ comes out, collides, but shakes the ball loose. Fans at the Met Center wanting a goal because they want to get back on top in this one. They'd like to celebrate here this evening. Willie turns, shoots, rolls it around the wall, and PJ to collect that one.
No difficulty at all for PJ. He's wise to that play by now. He saw what Alan Willie was going to do by pinning himself into a corner. He really had no other option with the ball. But PJ was very alert to that particular play.
Cummins this time up and over the top, and we'll take a short time out here with 3:22 left in the third quarter of play. Plenty of threes on the board. It's Cleveland 3 and Minnesota 3, and you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
Well, you're the kind of man that likes to do things your own way. And you can bet it's right when you get through. And there's a beer that always fits right in your hand. 'Cause you're a bad man, and this bud's for you. Oh, you do. This bud's for you.
Well, if you've enjoyed this one this evening on WOIO 19, don't forget to tune to 19 tomorrow night, 8 o'clock sharp for the last regular MISL game as the Cleveland Force and the Dallas Sidekicks go at each other. And, of course, you can catch all the action as only WOIO 19 shows it at 8 o'clock.
Dallas currently trailing the Baltimore Blast in Baltimore tonight, so depending upon the outcome of tonight's game, tomorrow night's game can loom very large, Denny.
Well, the other key, obviously, if Cleveland doesn't come away with a win tonight, if they beat Dallas tomorrow night, at least they get the home field advantage in the opening round. Well, 3:10 remaining in the third quarter of play, and we're still tied at 3 apiece.
Opening round being the best 3 out of 5, then the remaining 2 series being best 4 out of 7.
Of course, everybody's still waiting with bated breath to find out what happens in Washington. Oh, what a save that time by P.J. Johns.
Another tremendous save by P.J. Johns. Good, sure hands.
Michael King running through just about the entire team. Gets tied up. To Florio. Keeps it alive. Gino with a right footer. That one ricochets off O'Hara.
Gino DeFlorio getting off some powerful shots with his right foot this evening.
Mepham with a long shot. That one kick saved away by Lettieri. Well, Lettieri's been red hot. 15 consecutive wins here at the Met Center. 19-2 here at 87 and 88.
Here's number 1, Tino Lettieri. Very gifted keeper for the Minnesota Strikers. And he, along with Tim Harris, share the duties, but for all intents and purposes, it's been number 1, Tino Lettieri, who's borne the brunt of the work so far this series.
Lettieri 23 and 18 on the season with a goals against average of 4.03. Michael King this time to the carpet. Andy Schmetzer keeps it alive. Kingy now in the corner. Nice chip pass. Oh, Andy tried to run onto him, but Lettieri destroyed the play.
Good work again by Michael King, this time running onto the ball and rebounding it to Walter Schmetzer. Walter Schmetzer really doing a lot of, that's Andy Schmetzer so far. Number 22 is doing a lot of work so far this evening.
Now Carl going to slow the pace just a touch. Both of these teams have run up and down the field here this evening. 1:40 in the clock rolling here in quarter number 3. This would be a terrific road win for the Cleveland Force.
Very much so, Denny, as I pointed out just a bit earlier, just to prove to the club themselves that they can indeed win in this building. 0-3 here so far this season.
That's right. They've lost their last 5 here at Bloomington. It'd be nice to kind of turn the tide before the playoffs.
That's the old bugaboo that the Force used to have in Baltimore. Well, that has since changed, and you see the end result of that.
Andy Schmetzer is down, and he is grimacing in pain right now. And Gino DiPolito, I think, has a whistle up.
Andy Schmetzer going forward here again. And he's clipped by number 19, David Byrne, as he comes across to take the ball. And number 22, Andy Schmetzer. Let's watch it again. Byrne comes across, clips the ball away from Andy Schmetzer, and hits Andy in the process. There he's limping off. Number 22, Andy Schmetzer. He's being assisted by trainer Aaron Galpert.
Aaron already with the ice pack before he even got out to the field, so that's not a good sign. And Andy Schmetzer really has had a bunch of little nagging injuries. That ankle continues to bother him, and he might have re-injured it right there.
He's really playing hard so far this evening.
Now number 7, Kitson on.
The Force want to get the ball now and keep possession of it for this last minute of the third quarter.
Oh, my. Vicious tackle from behind that time. Inside, and a point-blank stop that time. Byrne got off the right footer, but the man with the red jersey was there with a hot hand.
B.J. Johns has saved 2 or 3 certain goals by the Minnesota Strikers. He's having a superlative game.
Desmond Armstrong's been quiet on offense this evening. As he controls, back it goes now to Stolmeyer. Walt Schmetzer. Stoley now. Of course, trying to spread out the strikers and find themselves a little avenue, perhaps.
Exactly right. Then he's trying to use the entire field, keep the ball in the process.
On the run with it now, number 10, Greg Thompson. Shut off there by Stolmeyer.
Good job by Stolmeyer to come across. He realized that Thompson was going in one-on-one with P.J. Johns, and he had gotten behind Paul Kitson.
Well, Cummins looks up at the clock and lets the shot go, and the rebound right at the last second up and over the top as Thompson tried to create a little havoc here with 1 second left.
Boy, P.J. has made some saves tonight, hasn't he, Denny? Whew.
Well, he's come up big, but both of these teams priming for the playoffs, if indeed there are any playoffs in the MISL.
Well, the owners and player representatives from various clubs around the league hammering out a decision, which has to be made by midnight this evening, East Coast time.
And there you have it, 3 quarters of play now in the books, and we're still tied at 3 apiece, so don't you dare go away. This last 15 minutes of soccer will be very exciting. And, of course, you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
Get it back. 1 save and a score, Dennis Meppa. And that's away.
Apple's Supermarkets makes a score on savings. Now at Apple's, you can purchase Cleveland Force tickets for just $1. No purchase necessary. Cheer the Force on to victory Saturday, April 9th and Saturday, April 16th at the Coliseum. Make a score now at Apple's. Force tickets are just $1.
Especially when you're defending, trying to clear it out.
Mepham on the move, gets a beautiful pass, fires the shot, and he scores!
Motor Cars Honda has moved to its new location, 2953 Mayfield. Huge selection from special shipments and great prices. A Civic 4-door DX 5-speed from $87.95 or lease from $151 a month. And Accord 4-door DX 5-speed from $11,175 or lease from $185 a month. A Prelude S 5-speed from $13,495 or lease from $217 a month. Motor Cars Honda, 2953 Mayfield Road at Superior, Cleveland Heights, 932-2400.
The game Monopoly is back at McDonald's, bigger and better than ever.
This year, there's over $50 million in prizes.
Hey, a Coca-Cola, McDLT.
Win instantly, or collect the right game pieces and win loads of cash, or maybe a new house.
Oh, I like the house.
Or hundreds of Sears shopping sprees. Whoa! Play Monopoly at McDonald's.
This time, it's not just big, it's huge.
And we're down to the fourth and final quarter from the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota, where the score is tied at 3 apiece, Cleveland and Minnesota. And don't forget, as a special offer to Force fans, tomorrow night at the Coliseum, when the Force battles the Sidekicks, get a great-looking Campbell's Force soccer ball for only $9.99. That's cash or check. You can pick them up at the Southeast Concourse at the Coliseum and save over 50%. That's tomorrow night, Fan Appreciation Night at the Coliseum.
Who's ahead of the third quarter statistics, and the Minnesota Strikers have attempted 24 shots on goal. Force have attempted 13. PJ's been called upon to make 12 saves, according to the statistics handed us, and most of those have been of the spectacular variety. He's playing an excellent game.
He has stepped up a couple of times, and as you mentioned before, sometimes it's goalkeeping by self-defense.
Exactly.
But as long as you get between yourself and the back of that net, that's all that counts.
Here's number 19, John Stolmeyer, who plays hard every game. As soon as the ball is centered off, he's ready to play.
Well, we've mentioned a couple of different times that not only the player reps, but commissioner and some of the other executives in the MISL currently in Washington. One of those executives, Scott Wolstein, the vice president of the Cleveland Force, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed that everybody will get together tonight and pound out an agreement so that the MISL playoffs go on a schedule.
Well, they were going to be locked in a room, Denny, literally. Bill Kentlin, the commissioner, Scott Wolstein from the Force, as we all know, and John Best from Tacoma Stars, and various player representatives. We're going to knock out a decision. And still one of the things uppermost on our minds, the existing salary cap is $1.275 million, and the owners have issued an ultimatum, Denny, but it has to go down to $878,000. The players have issued a counter-proposal on a couple different occasions, but the owners say this is the way it has to be in order for the league to enjoy success in the future. So that's one of the things they're still working on. They're still working on the collective bargaining agreement and free agency and things of that nature. So it remains to be seen, but as we just pointed out, Denny, they want a decision, and they're demanding a decision. They have placed a deadline of midnight, April 15th, for this particular decision to take place. So hopefully we'll get a good result from those meetings in Washington.
Well, they may be celebrating just a bit too soon here at the Met Center in Bloomington because we're tied at 3 apiece. The ball is on the red dot here for the start of the fourth and final. And now we've got a final score from Baltimore. It was Baltimore 6 and Dallas 2. And so Kenny Cooper and that crazy crew from Baltimore right back in the thick of things.
Oh, those wacky funsters from Baltimore, they're back in it. That would have been the first time in their existence if they had not made the playoffs.
DeFlorio with a breakaway. The Terry comes out. Valentine runs onto it. Had to be a handball, though. Had to be a handball. It was the only way that Valentine could have been kept from scoring.
Number 5, Troy Snyder on his own goal line. Actually, the right decision to make, Denny Schrader, because the ball was clearly in, as this picture will show you. DeFlorio knocks it across the face of the goal. Now watch this shot. With the outside of his right foot. That's not an easy ball to strike and keep it low and close to goal. That's exactly what happened there. Troy Snyder with the intentional handball, so he'll serve a 2-minute penalty, and the Force in the process will receive a penalty kick. There's number 3, John O'Hara, with the yellow armband on his left arm that indicates he's the team captain for the Minnesota Strikers.
Only successful penalty kick on the season provided by Craig Allen against the Baltimore Blast. That one all the way back in November. Carl Valentine on could change the complexion in this one.
There's number 5, Troy Snyder, who committed that handball. And number 10, Carl Valentine. He will be the kicker. You saw Gino DiPolito pointing to number 10, Carl Valentine. He was pointing to Valentine to let Tino Lettieri know who exactly the penalty kick taker was.
Valentine has already scored once this evening. He would dearly love to make it number 2 and unlock this one and give Cleveland a 4-3 advantage. Wide. Well, he let off a rocket. Lettieri dove, and Tino Lettieri dodges a Carl Valentine bullet.
Well, he hit the crossbar with it. The number 10, Carl Valentine, the right post, rebounded out. The Force now still on the man advantage.
Well, they'll have to go to work and score the man advantage. Nice centering ball. Walt Schmetzer with a couple of tries inside. This one at top the crease, and nobody home there to try and redirect it. Carl lets go with a blast. Lettieri steers that one aside. And it's still Cleveland's ball.
Foul whistled up against number 10, Greg Thompson. So the Force still with an excellent opportunity on the man advantage or keeping possession. That's one of the keys.
Andy Schmetzer must be okay because he's back on. Valentine into the corner. It goes to Stolmeyer. Well, a golden opportunity on the penalty kick, and Valentine missed wide with it. Carl around it goes. Stolmeyer turns, shoots, can't quite direct it inside. Boy, the Force keeping the pressure on. And this one squirts away. Valentine, Pistoli. Carl Valentine creates some offense.
Force can switch the flow of play. Walter Schmetzer is begging for a ball.
Valentine. Oh, inside. That one redirected right back, unfortunately, to Tino Lettieri. Thompson in to provide the defense. 25 seconds left in the power play situation. 13 minutes left in this contest, and it's 3-all. Well, the momentum clearly in Cleveland's favor. Stolmeyer tries to get off the shot, but once again, the strikers there defensively. Well, Schmetzer doing a nice job defensively, and the man advantage is over. The strikers come up big on the man advantage, and Lettieri right there breathing a sigh of relief.
They really did come up big on that particular man advantage situation, obviously because Carl Valentine missed the penalty kick, but then they killed off the ensuing 2 minutes.
Boy, a point-blank penalty shot. Carl Valentine probably wishes he had that one back.
Carl wasn't really concerned with placement on that particular shot, more so with power, and it just went wide. You saw the fourth force with which it was hit, then the ball rebounded nearly out to the red line.
Oh, he caught all of it, no question about that. Reminiscent of that John Stolmeyer blast that on quarter number 3. Could have shattered the glass with that shot.
Number 9, Alan Willie, one of the Minnesota striker players, one of their veteran players who cheats a little bit, stays on top close to the opponent's red line, always looking for a chance to go forward by cheating.
And we'll take a break with 11:40 left in this one. It's Cleveland 3, Minnesota 3, and you're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
In its discretion prior to taping, all monies and prizes will be forwarded by Saban Productions directly to the charitable organization.
Make a choice. Finally, there's a station that plays all classic rock and roll. Rolling Stones, Doors.
The edge of my chair already, and there's only 11:40 left to go in this one.
This has been a great game, Denny. Good offensive firepower for both clubs. Tremendous goaltending. Acrobatic attempts on goal. Good defense. A little bit too many giveaways in the Force end, for my way of liking. But they've rectified that. They're getting back to the flow of the offense now.
And don't forget, Force fans, it's fun, it's exciting, it's the MISL playoffs. Don't forget to get your tickets for home playoff games A and B only. Ticket prices are $16, $14, $12, and $8. And they're available at Ticketron, the Coliseum box office, and Force Soccer shops. Phone orders can be placed with Visa or MasterCard by calling Telethon, or make that Teletron, rather, at 524-0000. Tickets still available for the MISL playoffs.
We can tell you, Denny, if the opponent is indeed Dallas and Cleveland finishes first or second, games in Cleveland will be on the 22nd and 24th of April. And then in Dallas, we still don't know, April 28th and 29th or April 30th and May 1st. The reason you don't know there is because the Dallas Mavericks are in the NBA playoffs.
And, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers may be headed to the NBA playoffs as well.
Right.
So it's that time of the year.
probably no more tomorrow evening.
That's right.
And of course, that game to be telecast on Channel 19, WOIO. So watch for it as the Cleveland Force go back to Richfield to take on the defending champions, the Dallas Sidekicks.
And the last time the Sidekicks were in town, they weren't too hospitable.
No, sir.
Marinero being marked there by Dennis Mepham, who has been hot on his heels all night long. Marinero, the leading scorer coming into this one for the Strikers, does have a score, though, this evening.
He does, but that's excellent defense on that particular play by Mepham because he disallowed the ball getting to Marinero. And that's your job as a defender when you're marking that most dangerous player one-on-one. Don't allow him the ball.
Down goes David Byrne, but Gino DiPolito says play on. Kitson tries to control, but has it tapped away by Snyder. Lurie gets off a shot. That one crosses the crease. And Benny Dargle sends it around the boards. Lettieri with an outlet pass. And Mepham runs and takes it away.
Would you say Dennis Mepham missed 20 games? It certainly doesn't show. His fitness level is right back up to where it used to be.
Boy, nice to have him back. And, of course, we've already mentioned, of course, playing this one tonight without its top two goal scorers, and Craig Allen and Kai Hoskovy. Both of those guys will be back tomorrow night at the Coliseum.
Brian Bliss out this evening, along, of course, still with Ali Casamani. Still bothered by that sciatic nerve problem in his back.
Well, I can't tell you the last time all of those people played the game.
Pasquale DeLuca with that sprained ankle again. Victor Nogueira, of course, the torn Achilles tendon. He's out for the duration of the year. But, well, that's been the theme all year long, Denny. Rising above all this to still be battling for the Eastern Division crown.
Sweeney tries to head it and control it. Walt Schmetzer, though, stands in the way, and now Benny D comes up with it. Tries to keep it in play, but that went up and over the top of the window. With 9:13 left in this one, we're all tied up at 3 apiece, and David Byrne looks a bit tired.
19, David Byrne, one of the mainstays for the Minnesota Strikers. He's got 34 goals along with 41 assists. This is probably the most loyal fan of the Minnesota Strikers. He is always here. There's certainly no mistaking him.
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. If the Force wins the MISL this year, I think you should clad yourself in one of those for the final championship series. What do you think? Call yourself the Spirit of St. Louis.
Yep. Say, indeed, come in my size.
I think one size fits all. Oh, brother. All right, Stoley on the move. The pass, ahead it goes. Armstrong into the corner now to Bobby Joe Esposito. Now Desi gets it back. Controls, looks around. Force looking for an open seam. Bobby Joe around the boards. Oh, and he goes down in a tumble and on to finish off the play. Here's Walt Schmetzer, and now this one's a 4-3 contest, and Lettieri doesn't look too happy about it.
There's number 4, Walter Schmetzer, being mobbed by his teammates. He was waiting for something like that to occur so he could pounce onto any problems happening in the defensive third of the Minnesota Strikers. Here's how it happens. Stolmeyer starts the play. There's Andy Schmetzer rebounding the ball to number 39, Bobby Joe Esposito. Was he taken down? Evidently not so in the mind of the referee. And there's number 4, Walter Schmetzer, running onto all the confusion in the penalty area of the Minnesota Strikers. Here it is again. Andy Schmetzer pushed aside by Greg Thompson. Number 4, Walter Schmetzer, runs onto it, gets him behind Alan Willie, and he makes no mistake, jumps onto it, he really capitalized on that particular play.
So it's the Force's kiddie core that creates the goal that puts them ahead here in the late stages.
When you can capitalize on mistakes like that in your opponent's penalty area, it will really pay dividends.
Now does Coach Litkowski roll back and play defense, or does the Force continue to try at the offensive end? And oh, Marinero nearly snuck in the back door and scored there.
Well, he did get in behind the last defender, Hector Marinero did, but P.J. Johns with another splendid save.
Marinero controls at the arc, tries to get it off, but nice defense there. O'Hara comes on, he gets off a shot that Mepham blocks aside.
Great defending by Dennis Mepham, first on Marinero, then on the shot.
Michael King runs and controls Michael off the wall, but Lettieri there to cut off the shot.
Michael King is a hard, direct runner with the ball.
Byrne now spins, turns away. 7:25 left in this one. Cleveland 4, Minnesota 3. Force keeps its opportunity for a divisional championship alive if it wins. Valentine on the wing to Gino. Gino saves it. Spins, gets off the left footer. That one a little bit high and away. Boy, has he served up some balls this evening. Now it's a tug-of-war in the left corner. Nobody wanting to give way. Willie finally digs it out and returns it to Lettieri. I think that was more from fatigue than anything else.
Probably. Michael King again doing yeoman work to take that ball out and keep it alive, and he's still on the field.
This would be a terrific victory for the Cleveland Force on the road here this evening, maybe even serving notice for later on in the playoffs.
Very much so. That's one of the real keys late in this season. It always comes down to the last 1 or 2 games. The Eastern Division race, at least it has in the last 2 years, for the Cleveland Force.
And when you consider the Force has played gamely here tonight without Kai Huskeby and Craig Allen, it even adds more to the story.
And also, Denny, don't forget, we haven't mentioned this yet so far this evening, the Force playing in their 15th back-to-back situation. That clearly leads the league.
Well, it'll be much nicer to win this one tonight and not even have to worry about tomorrow evening. We'll be back to talk more about that one in just a moment. Up and over the top of the glass, so with 6:14 left in regulation, it's now Cleveland 4, Minnesota 3. You're watching Cleveland Force Soccer on 19.
Good news. Boating season is just ahead, so leap to the boat pad in Lorraine and Port Clinton. Power boats by Stamus and Regal from 18 to 36 feet. Cruising and performance sailboats from 15 to 50 feet by Express, Island Packet, and Passport. Also a fine selection of pre-owned boats. At the boat pad, we service what we sell, and we guarantee what we service year-round. Our 12,000 square foot service building is truly a complete maintenance facility. From minor repairs to full commissioning of a 40-footer. The boat pad in Lorraine and Port Clinton.
I get this fare. They say Ponderosa and fast. We'll have some lunch. You keep the meter running. Figured I could retire and buy a condo in Florida. How should I know? Ponderosa has this new express lunch. For $2.99, you get the all-you-can-eat soup and salad buffet. Let me tell you, they were in and out in a flash. So all I made was a few bucks. And what can you get for that?
There's a friendly feeling at Ponderosa.
And don't forget, for movies, as Only 19 can show them, tune to WOIO weeknights because it's a new time now, 9 o'clock, right after The Fall Guy. Some of next week's primetime movies include Kenny Rogers as the Gambler, MacArthur starring Gregory Peck, and Disney's Flight of the Grey Wolf. For movies, as Only 19 can show them, it's Cinema 19, now on weeknights at 9 o'clock. Well, we've been talking so much about the big game tomorrow night against Dallas, and if the Force wins, they lock up the home field advantage. But if they win tonight, Bill McDermott, they'll do it a day early.
Indeed they do, because Dallas, in virtue of their loss tonight, is 26 and 27. Cleveland going into tonight's game is 28 and 26. But with the win tonight, Cleveland will be 29 and 26, and they clearly have garnered that second place and home field advantage, at least after tonight's game.
8,822 on hand trying to cheer the Strikers on here, and the Force would like to break a few hearts on the road tonight, if at all possible. Boy, I'll guarantee you the last 6 minutes of this one is gonna be wild. Wouldn't that be something? The Force would win tomorrow night against Dallas and then have to wait till the final game of the season, regular season, with Baltimore here in town in Minnesota to find out if they could clinch the Eastern Division.
Well, 2 years ago, on the second last day of the season, Force tied for the lead by beating Pittsburgh. And then on the very last day of the season, they beat the same Minnesota Strikers 7-4 in Cleveland to win the Eastern Division Championship. They beat Baltimore last year in the last game of the season to win that Eastern Division Championship again. So it's following true to form, Benny.
I know one thing, it would be the first time, perhaps, in a trivia question that Force fans would be rooting for the Baltimore Blast to win. Fans are chanting, "We want a goal." The boys in blue trying to prevent him from that.
Dennis Mepham yet blocking another shot.
Clock rolls and we're under 5 minutes to play. This broadcast comes to you under the authority of the Cleveland Force and WOIO 19. Any rebroadcast or the use of this play-by-play without the express written permission of the Cleveland Force and WOIO 19 is strictly prohibited. Once again, a sliding block and out of bounds. And, well, you see the veterans, Benny Dargle and Dennis Mepham, just pulling out all stops right now to keep that ball from crossing the crease.
And they know exactly when and when not to dive in against an opponent. As we look at P.J. Johns, they don't dive in too quickly, which will allow the offensive player to go around and get a better shot on goal. Not diving in too quickly allows them to stay with the offensive player.
Well, for a while, it looked like it was all Minnesota as the Strikers led 2-0 after the first quarter of play. Early on for the second quarter, I should say. But then the Force came back and scored 2 goals within 36 seconds. Carl Valentine and Michael Kingham were tied at 2 apiece. And it was 3-2 Cleveland, tied up at 3 apiece. And then Walt Schmetzer came in with a big goal, and it's 4-3 Cleveland.
Goal by Walter Schmetzer did really loom large so far because he really took advantage of a mistake. And the Minnesota Strikers said you have to penalize teams and make them pay for those mistakes, and he certainly did.
Byrne looks for a little opening and then gets off a quick left footer. Distribution pass stolen away by Cummins. Off it goes to Byrne, and we're at 4 minutes left in this one. O'Hara runs onto it, lets one go, and point blank P.J. steers it away.
Yet another save by P.J. Johns at the near post on a blistering shot. From point-blank range, as you pointed out, Denny, P.J. playing superbly this evening.
John O'Hara really went down hard into the boards.
Here's that shot again. John O'Hara running out of the back, overlapping very nicely. Takes the shot at the near post. Saving very alertly was P.J. Johns.
See the Strikers getting a little impatient on offense now, letting go with those long shots. Of course, they're playing right into the hands of the Cleveland Force there.
Exactly right, because the Force defenders are not allowing other players to get inside of them.
Terry backs up and motions and redirection. We'll take a break here with 3:46 left in this one. It's Cleveland 4, Minnesota 3. You're watching Force Soccer on 19.
You want anything?
How about a light?
Whoa! Oh, Bob.
Could you make that a Bud Light?
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Did you see?
No. Did you? No. Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
In Bloomington, 3:46 left. It's 4-3 Cleveland on top, and the Force trying to just hang on by its fingernails to the possibility mathematically of a third consecutive Eastern Division championship. They have to win tonight, win tomorrow night, and have Minnesota lose to Baltimore on Sunday. Oh, P.J. stops it. Mepham there to provide a little defense, and Alan Willie with the shot that P.J. stopped cleanly.
Another great save by P.J. Johns, because one more time he was left unsighted.
Back it goes to Lettieri, and he calls for time as Alan Merrick, in his 4th season as head coach in Minnesota, decides that now is the point in time where they need to stop, take a good hard look at what's going to happen here, and come up with something in the last 3:16. We'll take another time out here. It's Cleveland 4, Minnesota 3, and you're watching Force Soccer on 19.
Enjoy elegant country dining at the Tavern of Richfield, located at routes 303 and 176 in the nostalgic village of Richfield. Join Mel and Susie Rose and the Tavern family for an evening of charm and elegance, or relax in the Tavern's piano bar Thursday through Saturday. The Tavern of Richfield at the Coliseum offers the same great menu and is open to the public before, during, and after all Coliseum events. The Tavern of Richfield, the restaurant of the Force.
At Blashill Shaker Nissan, we're celebrating our 12th anniversary with a sale going on right now, offering you savings to beat the band. Everything's on sale at Shaker Nissan at extra special savings during our 12th anniversary celebration. All of our new cars, trucks, and vans, and our previously owned automobiles offered to you at the lowest prices of the year. Stop in now during Shaker Nissan's 12th anniversary and see why our being #1 makes you #1.
David Byrne has worked up a sweat, and now he has donned the 6th attacker jersey as with 3:14 left, Merrick pulls out all the stops.
Exactly, that's what he has to do, Denny. They want to win this Eastern Division Championship tonight, and they can do so with a victory.
We've already mentioned, though, if both teams end up deadlocked in wins and losses, then how is it determined that Cleveland would end up winning the division?
It gets all the way down to the third tie-breaking differential, Denny, because if the Force wins both games, tonight's game and tomorrow in Dallas, it would go down to their being the best team in interdivisional play in the Eastern Division. Consequently, they would garner their 3rd consecutive Eastern Division title.
First tie-breaking situation is the record against one another this year, and that one's going to probably do it. The initial shot by Valentine, and then Desmond Armstrong comes up and cleans up on the play, and oh my goodness, what a win perhaps here this evening at the Met Center.
Desmond Armstrong recording his 10th goal of the year to go on with 20 assists. Here's how the play develops. Who gets involved? Once again, number 10, Carl Valentine, takes the initial shot. The save is made by David Byrne, who's the 6th attacker / goalkeeper. But Desmond Armstrong, number 2, runs onto the rebound. Here it is again. See, running to the outside of the screen. Number 2, Desmond Armstrong. That's good running off the ball because it makes this goal possible. He was running for a possible pass from Carl Valentine, Denny. Carl took the shot instead. The rebound off the save by Byrne went directly to Desmond Armstrong, and because he made that initial run, he was in position to make that goal. Very nicely done by number 2, Desmond Armstrong.
Well, it was family night here at the Met Center, but several of these folks are going to be heading home unhappy, I have a feeling, tonight. The Force coming up with a remarkable performance on the road in the very late stages to keep a breath of life and perhaps winning that Eastern Division Championship. It would be their 3rd in a row.
Minnesota Strikers with some very dangerous offensive players on the field. David Byrne, the 6th attacker, Hector Marinero, Alan Willie, Stan Cummins, Steve Kinsey. So with just 2 minutes left, it's far from being over, Denny.
Well, all along, though, the wisdom of Timo Liakowski finally coming true. Timo kind of all season long saying we don't really have much choice with the injuries. We have to continue to use the younger players, but sooner or later they'll come to form, and they have here this evening. The offensive attack goes on, and we're under 2 minutes, as you see. Byrne with a blast. Valentine knocks that one clean, and you better be careful with Valentine out front.
Exactly right, Dave. That's why he's the top player in this defensive setup. If there's a chance for a breakaway, he will take it.
Running onto it, Marinero didn't get all of it. Now Cummins lets the left footer go. Now Byrne tries one more time, and you can see the Strikers, their frustration level continuing to rise. And my goodness, what a turnaround here this evening. I don't think many of the fans gave the Cleveland Force much of a chance tonight without Oskavy and Allen and some of the other high-powered goal scorers of winning here tonight. P.J. Johns has been the difference, though, I would say. In this one this evening, he has come up with a spectacular performance and really has kept the Cleveland Force's title hopes alive here with a remarkable performance. Obviously, he would be the Budweiser player of the game, I would think, because he's really done a job in the nets this evening.
He really has, Denny. He's played a superlative game, and as you pointed out, everyone not giving the Cleveland Force much of a chance here this evening, simply because they're 0-3 so far, playing without Casamani, Craig Allen, Kai Oskavy, Pasquale DeLuca, Brian Bliss.
Well, King controls. If he could center, it might be a score, but back the other way comes Byrne. And he is in a big hurry.
Yes, sir.
Kinsey in a trap. Schmetzer kicks it free. Michael King tries to control, but the clock continues to run, and we're under a minute to play. Oh, my. You talk about a 50-50 ball. That was 51% to 49.
Michael King never hesitating to go into these 50-50 situations.
Gino DiPolito with a whistle. That's team foul number 6. And so with 48 ticks left on the clock, a tired Hector Marinero looks up at the clock, and the Force will be a man shy.
So the Minnesota Strikers now with an excellent opportunity to try to get back in this game, Denny, with 48 seconds remain. 5-3 now, and that goal now by Desmond Armstrong looms extremely large.
Well, you might say there's no way they could score 2 goals in 48 seconds, but earlier this evening when the Force trailed 2-0, Carl Valentine and Michael King teamed up within 36 seconds.
Exactly right, and they were done in an electrifying fashion. And don't kid yourself, the Minnesota Strikers have their most prolific offensive players out on the field, so it is indeed possible. But the Force defensive players this evening have been playing superbly.
Cummings chips it to Kinsey, gets it back. That one ricochets through, a dangerous play, and now it is up and over the top of the goal. So with 38 seconds left, the Force breathing a little easier.
Very rare miss there by number 9, Alan Willie, at that far post, away from everyone else. As a matter of fact, away from his defender. He had an excellent opportunity to get a 4th for the Strikers. Here it is again. Cummings knocks it across the face of the goal, and there's Alan Willie. Any other evening, he scores that goal for the Strikers, Denny.
Well, you know, it's been a hard luck season for the Force all year long. Perhaps maybe it's time for them to get a couple of breaks here in the late stages.
Well, what did Timo tell us a little bit before game time? With a little bit of luck, we win here this evening. Well, they have had some luck.
Oh, Carl nearly with an open net score that time, and his eyes were as big as saucers.
They have had some luck, Denny, but they've also played extremely well.
Mepham tries to control it, but Byrne comes away with it. On the wing is Marinero. There it goes. Oh, that went up and over the top, and that was close.
That ball hit the crossbar, Denny. Near miss by Hector Marinero.
Oh, what a sweet, sweet road victory this is for the Cleveland Force here this evening. Given little or no chance to win, they count it down, and Force fans have a right to celebrate a little bit because the title, there's still a possibility, Bill McDermott, that they could win it.
It's still within their grasp, and the Minnesota Strikers still cannot put away their Eastern Division opponents to win this Eastern Division crown.
Well, we'll be back to wrap this one up, as there you see 2 outstanding coaches.